Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Holy smokes. Good morning.
Wow.
Apparently some people were up early today. What is
Yes.
going on with you people?
I need to find out who the first order was
Yeah.
because Lindsay
Our merch guru
told me that, let me see,
somebody hopped on.
Linda literally purchased a
Second Amendment
one-
commemorative gift.
1 minute after she posted it.
So Linda was like, now.
Refresh,
How about now?
refresh,
Now.
refresh.
That was like us this morning when StreamYard wasn't working. And Brock was literally, if you thought he looked like he was about to join AARP before,
Wow.
it gave him some more gray hair today. We could not, there was some system outage or whatever. And it was like, oh my gosh. What a hot mess. Who said what a hot mess? Who's a hot mess?
But thank you for ordering. It makes, I'm not going to speak for Wendy. It makes me feel good that you guys, one, want it, and two, that you're willing to support the show and us being able to do it.
I'll just say it simply. I love you.
Okay. No, and it makes me want to get on
Create new
Jolene
stuff.
to get the mugs. Like, to me, like, it's just, like, if you're excited about that, and there's probably 2% of you that own AR-15s.
Lady Bastiat, if that's your name. How long does it take you to straighten your hair? About 20 minutes. It does not take long. I just have a hell of a lot of it. And yesterday I had to do Newsmax late, and I figured it was already pretty well straight. So what the hell? It'll end up at the top of my head in no time because it's hotter than boop. But I've got the air conditioner going. Thank God I'm wearing a leather jacket because that makes it all so much better. Anywho.
I'm going to refresh this real quick.
It's great to be with you guys. I mean, who are some of the names I can call out here? Like, where do you want to begin?
There are 40 orders, and some of you have ordered the first and the second and multiples. We've probably sold close to 50 magazines already, 50. And
hey, Carol, thank you. Carol, $58. Let's see. 40 more. Oh God. Let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to get them up on here, and it's, let me see, notifications. Yeah, Joe and 40 others. Carol and Brent and Jeffrey and Ronald and Joe and Leone and Cheryl and Mark and John, Kimberly, Tina, Sue, Brian, Roderick, Jerry with
Robin.
a J, Mike, Robin, Wendy,
Chris.
Arlene, Beverly, Douglas, Dawn, Ronald again, Clay, Joseph, Chris, Timothy, Amanda,
Glow,
Thomas, Mark, Lisa, Corey, twice, Chris again, Corey, Paul, Mark, Linda, what? And let's see who's got the biggest order. Paul at 208. Anne at 286. Like, what? Lisa at 208. I mean, and then some of you like $160 from Ronald.
Wendy 203.
Wendy, yeah.
Who got 4 of them. See, this is why,
Sue,
and I hate to say it, you have to, I know I'm going to get emails saying I didn't get a chance. And
Sue, what the heck?
Thank you. It doesn't seem like enough, but
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. You guys blow us away all the time. It doesn't stop. You don't stop. And thank you. So those of you who are watching, I don't know if we're still in the big box, but we invite you to the show. We're about to begin. We're waiting for our radio affiliates to get the top of the hour news and all that mumbo jumbo.
No.
And if you're new here, what we're talking about is wendybellradio.com, our app, our site. And in our merch store, we're selling AR-15 30-round mag. Is that what it is? Magazines for the ARs. And we have 3 different ones. Third one isn't out yet.
Okay.
But we have one that we only added 50 more to. And then we did a couple hundred of the second one. And the second one is Clarence Thomas, North is Still North. The first one was the Second Amendment. And it's written on it with our logo so that when you pop it in, you see our logo. It's just beautiful.
And if you don't know, when you go to the site and you want to get one, it says Second Amendment commemorative gift because you're not allowed to sell.
You're not allowed to sell certain things. And so we don't want to break the law. So we sort of break the law.
We
We're not
circumvent the rules.
Somalians, but I mean, we're close.
It's if you know, you know. We kind of circumvent the rules.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be a little creative.
Anyway, it's just.
We don't say enough thank you.
It's just silly. We love you. I love you. I love you. You guys are
I don't say it often, but I do too.
Wow.
Wow.
5.
Wow.
I wholeheartedly do.
Wow.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the frozen tundra of the fruited plain. Coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Wendy Bell radio program. Hey, you know what? We're very easy here. We tell you the truth. Sometimes you don't like it, and I understand that. But you've been lied to enough in your life, and you've been lied to a lot in the last 8 or 9 years. On this program, our vow to you is to always deliver smart, common sense, conservative values. It's not complicated. And we promise to tell you the truth. That's it. And it somehow works out as a magical formula. Look at that. As the Wendy Bell Radio Army is growing, you can always follow along the live video feed. Remember, Wendy Bell Radio. Plug it into your phone, put it on your computer, bring us up on your smart TV, whatever you got. Just keep coming back and welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You know, I think anybody who has been in some semblance of their own business, doesn't have to be something giant. It could be something small, your own little small business. If you rely on other people beyond you to get things done, to handle finances or what have you, there's a good chance that you've been screwed, right? You've been screwed, you've been swindled, you've been stolen from. It happens to, I think, almost everybody. And it's a really painful lesson that boils down to the dollars and cents of, oh my, I trusted when I should not have, and there's no one to blame except yourself. Yeah, you can blame the person who stole from you. Yeah, you can blame the person who deceived you. But the bottom line is, you didn't stop it. You didn't know it. You didn't see it. And you end up paying the price. It is a big, big, bitter pill to swallow. I've been through it. Most of my friends who are small business owners have been through it. It's a different ball game, though, when you get screwed and lied to by the people ostensibly who are hired to protect you, to represent you, to legislate on your behalf, to do the right thing, especially when nobody is looking. And by the time you finally realize that you've been lied to, screwed, swindled, bent over, what have you, you kind of get the feeling like you've only pulled that one first thread of the ugly tapestry, because there's usually a lot more to find. That is where we are in this country with this whole Somalian nonsense. The people imported from Somalia, they weren't exported. Joe Biden and this administration, as Barack Obama greased the skids for it, imported these people to be slave laborers. I kid you not, that is what is going on. To undercut American workers to work in deplorable conditions, to have their cultures collide with our culture, which is not their fault. And then because people weren't paying attention or didn't care, a lot of those people started making some money off of the generosity and the stupidity, I guess, of our system. Donald Trump is trying to unravel that. We are at the tip of the spear. This is that point in that picture of the iceberg where you see the iceberg sticking out of the water and then you see the monstrosity underneath the surface. We have no idea what lies below the surface. Donald Trump is trying to fix that. This administration is trying to unwind that. These people who we elected in landslide form, if the Democratic Party and the rhinos like, I don't know, Rand Paul, would get out of the way for a hot second, would be able to do so much more expeditiously what you and I elected them to do. And yet we have this crybaby class of deep state rhinos and leftists who realize that the gravy train might be coming to an end. And you know what? Since they've never really had real jobs, they've never met a payroll, most of them. They've never had to shop for insurance for their employees. They never had to get unemployment compensation. They've never had to get any of the stuff that we need to do as small business owners. These people now realize the only gift they have in life is to steal off of the goodness of the American people and to pretend that they're doing a good job. I see this. I think you probably see this. More and more Americans see this. But I have to ask those out there who just hate Donald Trump, who hate everything that this man is doing. I want to read you something that the administration put out quietly overnight. It's the national security strategy of the United States of America. They've had it for a couple weeks. It's dated November 2025. But we are finding it today. I want to read you two particular pages. And anybody out there who thinks they dislike Donald Trump, they don't like what he says, they don't like who he is, they don't like how he talks, okay. I want you to hear what I'm about to read you, which is the objective of this administration, the national security strategy of this Trump administration for these beautiful United States. My fellow Americans, and this is President Trump writing this, over the past 9 months, we have brought our nation and the world back from the brink of catastrophe and disaster. After 4 years of weakness, extremism, and deadly failures, my administration has moved with urgency and historic speed to restore American strength at home and abroad and bring peace and stability to our world. No administration in history has achieved so dramatic a turnaround in so short a time. Starting on my first day in office, we restored the sovereign borders of the United States and deployed the U.S. military to stop the invasion of our country. We got radical gender ideology and woke lunacy out of our armed forces and began strengthening our military with $1 trillion of investment. We rebuilt our alliances and got our allies to contribute more to our common defense, including an historic commitment from NATO countries to raise defense spending from 2% to 5% of GDP. We unleashed American energy production to reclaim our independence and imposed historic tariffs to bring critical industries back home. In Operation Midnight Hammer, we obliterated Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity. I declared the drug cartels and savage foreign gangs operating in our region as foreign terrorist organizations. And over the course of just 8 months, we settled 8 raging conflicts, including between Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the DRC and Rwanda, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, and ending the war in Gaza with all living hostages returned to their families. America is strong and respected again. And because of that, we are making peace all over the world. In everything we do, we are putting America first. What follows is a national security strategy to describe and build upon the extraordinary strides we have made. This document is a roadmap to ensure that America remains the greatest and most successful nation in human history and the home of freedom on earth. In the years ahead, we will continue to develop every dimension of our national security, and we will make America safer, richer, freer, greater, and more powerful than ever before. Signed, President Donald J. Trump. I voted for that. Everything that you and I have enjoyed over the last 11 months, we voted for that. Did you ever hear Joe Biden stand up and discuss American exceptionalism? Did you ever hear Barack Obama discuss the beauty of this majestic land or discuss the people who died on her battlefields here and abroad, so that you and I have the privilege, all of the privilege that we currently have? Did you ever hear a Democrat ever drop to their knees and give thanks to God unless they were draped in a kente cloth? The difference between what we have had and what we do have could not be more stark. So if you're okay with narco terrorists ferrying lethal drugs across our country, if you're okay with Venezuela controlling the election systems in our country and the machines, if you're okay with an alien invasion that has watered down our communities and that has brought on a collision course cultures from around the world that have no earthly idea who we are and what we are all about, if you're okay with the systematic decline of American education, if you're fine with America's college students coming out without valuable job prospects, but completely groomed to assume their spot in this new militant army of victims, then you probably don't like this president. But that's okay, because we outvoted you. So stand back, shut your mouth, get out of the way, and let the people who are experts at fixing things fix things, because, damn it, we want to make America great again. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, guys, it's deeper than Minnesota. This thing going on, the grifting, the theft, the corruption, the knowledge of people in charge that it was going, just the tip of the spear. All right? Let's open the door to that next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Other than that, I got nothing. I read this
By the way, I've counted over 94 already.
94 whats?
Second Amendment commemorative gifts. And for the people, it is called the Second Amendment commemorative gift. You're not going to see a picture of it.
No. This is where you fly blind and you trust us. I will say, in the time that Lindsay has been our merch manager, there have been 3 things that have gone wrong. Out of hundreds of orders, 3. And I'm not even so sure they were even remotely her fault. This woman is on the ball.
Yeah, she's
on the ball, and she's going to be busy as stones. How exciting. Because of you, you are giving really significantly life-impacting secondary income to 2 women, Lindsay and to Jolene. Jolene is a working mom who would love to get off of the working side and become the entrepreneur that she wants to be and create things as though she's creating for us. You guys are giving her that opportunity. And Lindsay, who's got some bills to pay, appreciates the extra income. And we appreciate both of them and you. Thank you. All right, let me tell you guys about somebody. Who is it going to be? I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. Let me open up my bookmarks. I wasn't prepared. I beg your pardon. I was dazzled by these numbers. You guys are absolutely killing it, and I'm very appreciative. Thank you. I believe I'm still going to talk. I'm still going to talk about Chef Man, Iceman. Their code is not working. I've gotten some emails from some of you, and you've told me the code is not working. I'm forwarding that onto the company. So I really want you guys to get into these products because they are off the charts, but there is some back-ended snafu on the final sale. It should be 30% off. But when you go to chefman.com/Wendy, it populates a promo for 20% off. If you are interested in placing an order with them, please send me a message, wendybellradio@gmail.com. I'm talking about all of the beautiful things that they make. The obliterator, the blender. I mean, you can't call it a blender. That's just idiotic. It's phenomenal. There's an ice cream sorbet frozen yogurt machine. Stop it. There's the Pebble ice maker. My computer is not loading, so I'm going off of the top of my head. The oven, which is off the chart. And they have an indoor pizza oven.
That's your next purchase.
Right? The slushy maker, ice cream maker, all 30% off. Chefman.com/Wendy. If you don't get the 30, please send me an email. We'll make it right. wendybellradio@gmail.com. It's aggravating, but I want you to. This, how much the left has used race as kind of a cudgel in their machinations of suck. You know, there is actual racism out there. And I'm sure if you spoke with somebody who doesn't look like you, they'd probably be able to give you some timely examples. That is not the story of America. That is not our legacy. That is not our history. That is not what's baked into the fabric of this country. We've had bumps and growth spurts along the way. But it is despicable to me how racism and browbeating people into this idea that make sure nobody thinks you're doing anything even remotely discriminatory because they're going to call you a racist is baked into every single garbage piece of, let's just say, fraud, theft, corruption, and abuse that has befallen our country in the last several years. You mean to tell me that the people in Minnesota don't know damn well what the Somalian community has been able to get away with? And by the way, kudos to them. I mean, in a sick way. There were no guardrails, Ilhan Omar said. There were no guardrails allowing these people to grift off of the welfare, basically COVID welfare system, to the tune of $1 billion to $10 billion, right? But the fear that has been sown into people, so worried that if they don't fall over themselves to accommodate somebody who is of a different background, that they're going to have some boomerang of racism come back and hit them in the face. And so they allow fraud, waste, and abuse to go on unabated. You know, I wanted to call today's show America's Willows. Because if you think about it, if you know something's going on and you're not saying something because you're afraid, you don't have much of a backbone. I don't have a whole lot of time for that. Tim Walz, Keith Ellison, fill in the blanks. I want you to hear this woman. She's in Ohio. She's like, look, I know that Minnesota's got a Somalian problem right now. 80,000 of them living in the Minneapolis, St. Paul, what have you area, right? Where you have ultimate culture collision. It's also going on in Columbus, Ohio, where she is, and she wants you to know about it.
Come see Columbus, Ohio, fraud investigators. If you go to the government-assisted housing areas, you will find that most of the housing is Somalians. I would say about 80% of the government-assisted housing in Columbus is occupied by Somalians. And the parking lot is occupied with a whole bunch of brand new cars. And the women walking around have designer purses with EBT cards, and they have Apple iPhones stuck up in their hijabs. Yeah. And then go to the businesses that are owned by the men. Because see, what happens is when you have a restaurant or when you have a little corner store and you have a couple of wives and you only have to claim one, then that means the other wives get EBT cards. And you can use those EBT cards to buy food for your store or your restaurant. Yeah. Or what you can do is you can get a home health aid company. And then you only hire Somalians to work the home health aid. And what you do is you just make sure their paperwork looks right. It don't have to be right, but you just make sure it looks right. And then you send them off for those home health aid jobs. Y'all don't want to talk about fraud.
Tip of the iceberg. It's been going on forever. It's got to be the oldest game in town from the beginning of our inception as humanity. There's always people who, instead of following the rules or working hard or doing the right thing, north is still north, will spend an inordinate amount of time breaking the law, fudging the rules, breaking the system, robbing us blind. In fact, why else do we have ridiculous taxes? Is there any reason you can imagine that between 25 and 35% of your salary, before you even buy anything or get it in your pocket, is taken out? And then your local and your county and the city and the water and the real estate and the la 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 la. So at the end of the day, when you go out to buy something, which also is taxed, your original amount of money is whittled down to what? 40%. Do you think other people deserve 60% of your hard work? No. It just took something so brazen, so outrageous, so totally unbelievable as poor, illiterate, inbreeding, check out Somalia, folks. Somalians to be driving around in luxury vehicles with Louis Vuitton handbags for everybody to see what the hell was going on. It's almost as ridiculous as a once-in-a-lifetime global pandemic that you paid for because your government created the virus. Your government shut down the world. Your government foisted upon you an injection. And then your president, Joe Biden, stood on stage and admonished you and scolded you and told you you were garbage. Yeah, I voted for Donald Trump. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I did. Why didn't you? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about the tip of the iceberg. What did Ilhan Omar know? Well, apparently she's known a lot. She's known a lot for years. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I know, I love that woman. Isn't she great? With her big, beautiful eyes and her fun way of describing stuff. She's like, yeah, and if you can... It's her own cute little way of being like, oh yeah, it's pretty bad where I am too. All right, blood flow. How many of you have gotten on my blood flow bandwagon? Because if you haven't, Brock just raised his hand. How are you doing, Alpha Gold Male? You feeling like a lion in there?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay, that's weird. I really think that, and certainly I am biased about men. I love my men, and I am swimming in men. I've got 5 sons, as you know, a husband, and I guess one could consider him a work husband. I care about men very much, men's health, and I think men have been emasculated over the last several years. I want to rebuild your testosterone. I want to knock the cortisol and estrogen out of your body. I want you to sleep better than you ever have. I want you to be able to do things physical that you haven't been able to do in years. I want you not to stop. I want you to look in the mirror and be like, damn, It's been a long time since I felt this good. Because that's how I feel on Blood Flow 7. I've never taken anything that has changed my whole everything as much as this. And it's something so simple. It's a molecule, nitric oxide, that opens up your blood vessels so your blood can, more blood can flow through your body. Imagine what could happen. Oh, I don't know, blood to your brain. Do you think that helps with clarity and focus and all the cobwebs that come after the age of 50? Absolutely. Flow to your body, to your heart, your lungs, all of it. What does that do? Makes you have strength and stamina and all of that. And then at the end of the day, since you're not nodding off like you used to, you crash. You sleep like a boulder, not a rock, a flipping boulder. And you wake up and you're like, how you doing? That's bloodflow7.com/Wendy. And by the way, find the one that's got the bundle, right? Because it's this one. And then there's the Alpha Gold Male, which is for the men.
Yeah, take it. If you're a dude and you're tired all the time, I would highly recommend it.
You feel good on it?
Yeah.
It's been a
Wizzle
week.
Bean says, I don't know if that's a man or a woman, but I have my second bottle of Blood Flow coming. I've been sleeping better and no 3 o'clock afternoon slump. That's
Right.
it.
That's it.
That's it.
Right? At the end of the day, that's all I want. You know, I don't need to feel good per se. I don't need a stimulant, but it would be nice to not feel like I'm going to hit the wall. And I will say that normally I notice that at about
4, 5.
About 3:30 in the afternoon, usually early in the week when I'm writing my Newsmax scripts. So I'm sitting upstairs in my bed. I've got this big window that looks out over, whatever, the neighborhood. And I start, and I'm just like, and I put my head back. Brock watched me do it when we were watching the debate, right?
You didn't put your head back, I heard.
And
head back was not it was droll.
And that's not true. I was close, but it wasn't true. And I don't do that anymore. It's a beautiful thing. Now I feel like I'm gonna nod off. Like I can't take it. I have to fall asleep. I'm dying.
I felt weird when you fell asleep while watching the debates.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I
a voyeur?
Yeah, like
some creeper. No, and then I woke up and I think I did one of these things. I was like, and then I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Like, welcome back.
I'm sorry. And then I like rolled and I snuggled in and like dug in and
fell asleep again.
I figured,
I'm like, don't worry, I'll watch.
I figured he would be watching the debate for me. And if there was something amazing, he'd be like, oh my gosh. Or he'd actually say, oh my gosh.
Wow.
You know, it's true. It's so true. Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, Ireland Contract. I'll let you borrow Dan, if only you don't try to get on a schedule for landscape lighting before I do in the spring, okay? You need something in the house. You had some plug that changed. You need a new box. You need something. Okay.
Just call and say, I don't want to take Wendy's spot from Dan.
That's right. If Dan can squeeze me in on this smaller job of mine, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. I wish you lived in Pennsylvania so that you could enjoy really honest home exterior remodelers who really want to change your house and make it so beautiful and safe and dry and warm, right? And they don't want to screw you over. They're just great. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. So our genetic tests are in.
Yes.
We need to start talking about this again. It's not an easy price tag to drop. It's not cheap to get genetic testing. But when you get it from Dr. Dubiak, and we're going to talk about it a little later in the show, I think you're going to have an eye-opening experience. I will be honest with you. I'm a touch trepidatious. So during my Newsmax show yesterday, one of my guests used the word vexatious. And I started to giggle, and it was about like a bad story. And I started to giggle, and I was like, and then the other guy that came up with it, like the 4 box. So it's me and the 3 guests. And so I told the other 2 guests that they had to use vexatious in their answer to my next questions. And they were phenomenal. They were phenomenal. And I was just like, I wanted to say to Newsmax, look, the news always sucks. It's always bad. But if you can have any iota of fun, go for it. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I've chewed on, and it's not common that I take home or definitely chew on different stories that linger with me. I can drop it. I can go home. I can do what I got to do. I couldn't drop Jake Tapper and Ilhan Omar yesterday. We played for you the audio of Jake having 6 minutes with this Minnesota Somalian American representative, right? Whose district is the central nervous system of corruption that we know of today. Because you could take Minneapolis, St. Paul out of it and put in Philadelphia. You could put in San Francisco. You can put in Cleveland, right? There is stuff like this going on because of the outrageous bad decision-making during COVID. When we had elected leaders who saw dollar signs and who agreed to pass multi-trillion-dollar measures that were arranged so hastily, purposefully, so as to invite a world of fraud, knowing full well that they were going to basically bankrupt our children and grandchildren before we even have them. And when Jake Tapper had 6 minutes alone with Ilhan Omar, he allowed her to play the victim card. In fact, he set the stage for it. He made the conditions ripe. He made the uterus fluffy, if you will, for the egg to then be fertilized and get comfy and begin to grow. And what is that growth? It's always the victim. Well, I'm a minority. How dare you go after a whole community? We're black looking. Don't you know that's racist for you to tell us that? You can't hold us accountable for stealing billions of your dollars. Well, Ilhan said, well, you know, it's just they didn't put up the guardrails around COVID and all of the funding. So, you know, it is what it is. Tim Walz, you know, we've got such a great city, it invites criminals. Really? And I chewed on that yesterday, and I chewed on it all flipping night long because Jake Tapper would come out, and we have his sound later. You know, they caught the guy allegedly put out those pipe bombs on January 6th. It's a black guy. Now, I wouldn't care it's a black guy if Jake Tapper didn't call the guy white. I mean, for the love of all that's holy, is there no low for these people to shape a narrative that is just absolutely fictitious? No. And so I want to know, what does Ilhan Omar know? How much has she been a part of this? Come on. This woman is not the Virgin Mary when it comes to fraud. Please, you have to be a moron to not see what's going on. So let's read about this. It's an interesting story, and there are multiple iterations of it. One in Gateway Pundit, one in the New York Post. I kind of like this one. It kind of gives you a quick rat-a-tat of some of her things in the past that make you go, What did Ilhan Omar know about the $1 billion welfare fraud case in her Minnesota district? Please. Right? I had no idea. What? U.S. Representative Ilhan Omar's close ties to the $1 billion welfare scam in her Minnesota congressional district are becoming uncovered. Omar held parties at one of the key restaurants named in the fraud, knew one of its now convicted owners, and one of her own staffers has also been convicted, both for stealing millions of dollars. That's not okay. Omar even introduced the bill that led to the $250 million in fraud. Yet she claims to have been completely unaware of it. No, I don't know. No sé, no habla inglés, right? When they pull over the trucker. No sé. Really? Omar knew these people. She knew who they were. People she personally knew were making tens of millions of dollars in this program. Claimed a guy named Bill Glahn. He's a policy fellow with the Minnesota-based Center of the American Experiment. Why do we care about this guy? Well, he says she's been inside this safari facility On numerous occasions, this is a facility through which they would operate the Feeding Our Future scam. You know, where it made perfect sense that one dude was providing 18,000 meals a day around the clock for 7 months, right? Because that makes sense. She was inside that building numerous times and she couldn't put 2 and 2 together. Like either she's terribly naive or she knew and didn't care. Isn't this what Kristi Noem said about Tim Walz? Either he's the biggest idiot in the world or he's in on it. I don't really see a door number C. Is there a third door I'm unaware of here? No. Around $250 million was handed out by the Minnesota government to provide meals to school children who don't exist in those numbers. In fact, I'd love to find one. Find me one kid who got one meal from one of these defendants. Wouldn't that be a kick in the pants? So anyway, there are multiple connections between Ilhan Omar, these businesses, these people, the grifting, and 80,000 people voting one way. It's a hell of a lot of people in one community to help you stay in office. Because when you're in office and you're allowing the grift to continue, I'm sure the kickbacks to your political campaign coffers must be quite significant. I mean, how else does Ilhan Omar go from owing $45,000 when she joined Congress in 2019 to having a net worth of over $30 million? That's a hell of a rate. Wouldn't you think? 60,000% difference. So now Fox News is reporting that ICE is on the ground in the Twin Cities. So we're not fooling around. We are going door to door, apparently, in these Somalian neighborhoods. It's not hard to figure out who everybody is because they've got the Mercedes-Benz or they've got the whatever. What's that wagon called? The wagon that the $100,000 whatever Mercedes.
Escalade?
No, it's that Mercedes wagon thing that's so ugly but so expensive. And people are like, oh, yeah, all you have to do is find the fancy cars, knock on the door. Oh, are you Somalian? No English. Here's Fox News.
Federal agents are now on the ground in the Twin Cities, focusing on the Somali community and anyone who is in the country illegally. We know they have been stopping some folks out on the street asking for their IDs, also going door to door looking for specific individuals. All of this, as you mentioned, comes after those massive fraud schemes in Minnesota that involved mostly folks from the Somali community, fraudulently charging the state more than $1 billion for social services that were never performed. When Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who's become the face of the Somali community in Minnesota, was asked why the fraud got so out of control, she said this.
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
Around $250 million was handed out by the Minnesota government to provide meals to school children during the pandemic from 2020 onward. Instead, that money was pocketed by corrupt business owners, including Salim Ahmed Saeed. He's the co-owner of Safari Restaurant, where Omar held her 2018 Congressional Victory Party. She, or Saeed, I should say, was found guilty in August of stealing over $12 million for serving 3.9 million phantom meals during the COVID-19 pandemic. See, here's the thing that I was chewing on. When you get away with grifting, as long as some people do, every day the volume gets cranked up a little bit. You get a little bit more brazen. Your scam gets a little more unbelievable. Your claims become more incredulous until all of a sudden you're serving 3.9 million meals in an absolutely ridiculous and untenable time period. And then when you call them out on it, Ilhan Omar blames COVID or Congress that passed all of the money that you and I were like, what are you doing? No, right? Or we'll blame racism. Well, you just don't like people who have dark skin. Well, we don't really give a fat rip about what people's skin looks like. Are they stealing from us? Period. Fox News continues. House Oversight is now investigating Tim Walz and, this is interesting, Attorney General Keith Ellison.
President Trump and Republicans are railing against Governor Tim Walz, and the House Oversight Committee, which has launched its own investigation into the fraud, is now requesting documents, records, and communications from both Walz and State Attorney General Keith Ellison after reports they and other state officials may have been warned and ignored those warnings, allowing this fraud to happen.
The state employees in Minnesota rang the bell, they blew the whistle that there was massive fraud, and yet Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, apparently turned a blind eye to that for fear of political retaliation from the large voting bloc of Somalis.
Yeah, close to 80,000 Somalis live in Minnesota. They have become a powerful voting bloc for Democrats. But there are now multiple federal investigations into this fraud. Folks close to those cases tell us that what we've seen so far may be just the tip of the iceberg.
How many people do you think of those 80,000 who kind of miraculously appeared after COVID? How many of those 80,000 do you think have gone through the process of becoming legal citizens? Because, you know, that process takes years. It's a commitment. It takes sacrifice. It takes education. It takes all of that. How many of them do you think went through it? Yeah, none. I would say. I don't know. Negligible number to the degree. This Saeed guy who was friends with Ilhan, who was the co-owner of this safari place where this Feeding Our Futures grift took place, found guilty of stealing over $12 million. Where did he spend it? He spent $2 million on a Minneapolis mansion, and he apparently had a little bit of a shopping habit. $9,000 a month at Nordstrom. Ilhan Omar, we need to say, has not been directly linked to this scandal. The same way Joe Biden apparently has not been directly linked to his Biden crime family corruption, right? The same way Barack Obama, was he linked to all those drone strikes that killed all the civilians as we lose our ever-loving minds about double tap, Pete Hegseth? Isn't it also disgraceful, so predictable, so obvious? Yes. But remember, there are a lot of willows out there who don't want to be called racist. They don't want to be called discriminatory. I say, if you break our laws, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care where you or what you look like. Go home. You are no longer welcome here. Ilhan, I'm speaking to you. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Somalians are basically slave laborers in parts of Minnesota. Don't ask me or don't think I know about this. I know a guy who used to work in the food processing industry, and he's like, you have no idea how bad it is. Next. Is it me or did this week go by really fast? Are the weeks getting, like, honest to God? Do you remember when you're a little kid, you're waiting for your birthday, you're waiting for Christmas, you're waiting for a milestone birthday? Oh, I'm going to be double digits, or oh, I'm going to be sweet 16, or oh, I'm going to be 18, or oh, I'm going to be 21. And then it's like, after that, like every year, you're like, oh my God, it's taking forever. And then you finally get old enough, and then like the years go by and you're 50. And you're like, dang, what happened? That's what happened to this week to me. And we were on some time warp. I don't know. I'm blaming Brock. Anyway, let me tell you about Dr. Gundry. So this is like breaking news. I get an email yesterday, and I love when you guys send me emails because, oh my God, our stories. I have to go to a second page of emails because a third page of. Okay, here's oh my. Here is Rick in Grants Pass, Oregon. He said, hey, Wendy, I've been using the Healthy Fat as a hot drink for a week, and it is surprisingly good in hot water. Really? Because Brock was just asking me today, he's like, do you have a hard time ever drinking cold drinks when the weather is cold outside? And I'm like, no, not really. But how about heating up some water and putting in a scoop of Dr. Gundry's dietary supplement, That's what it is. It's his number one like seller.
I would
He
never
lost.
think to do.
I would never think about that. He would. What if you made like a tea, but instead of using tea, you heat up your water, maybe throw in some lemon or what have you, and you put in a scoop of this. This is what helped Dr. Gundry lose 70 pounds. As you can tell, I drink it every single day. And I'm running out again. Tiffany, if you're paying attention to me, thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. So 70 pounds, could you lose 70 pounds? Yeah, you could if you have 70 pounds to lose. If you're going to use this in conjunction with smart habits and you're going to get moving again, hell yeah, you can. We have a young lady who is on track to lose triple digits in a calendar year. And this is a big part of it. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. I believe in Dr. Gundry. I believe in his research. I believe in what he does. And I believe in his products. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. All right.
We are up to 84 orders.
2.08. That's really bad. We need 400 rumbles. Look, if you guys haven't hit the thumbs up bubble yet underneath the video box, would you please? I'm gonna browbeat you today. It's super important that we end the week strong, and this is huge for you to help us. Thank you so much. While you're clicking the thumbs up button, just go to the follow button. It's next to the red army button, and click that. We're trying to get up to 100,000 people following our page by my birthday next April. So if you can help us, it'd be forever grateful. Let's see what you can do. Yeah, you guys are buying all of the Second Amendment commemorative gifts, our AR-15 magazines. And if you want to, well, you won't be able to see them because they're top secret. But if you want one, I bet you we sell out. I bet you we sell out ASAP.
I can go out on a limb and say, if you don't know what they look like, you're going to like them.
Yeah.
I've heard no complaints from anyone who ordered the first round, and the second round is just as nice. So
that's terrible that we don't even have 2.5. I'm very upset about that. Okay. I'm just trying to keep my hair off of my face so it's not in my eyes. Sorry, guys. All right. Oh, look at you putting out the website, Sherry. Sherry's trying to help us out. Thanks, Cher. Would you die if we sold out?
I wouldn't die, but yeah.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. You know, the whole idea, this is interesting. I wonder if the 450,000 missing illegal alien children who Joe Biden and that administration encouraged to come to this country for whatever reason. I mean, I find it hard to believe that cultural differences would allow so many families around the world to send their children alone to this country if the hope was not for something better. I mean, I have to think that inherent in all of us, regardless of where we live or our cultures, that we would do whatever we could to protect our kin, our children. What if those 450,000 kids are working as slave laborers in industries that apparently we don't want to work in? Who wants to debeak a chicken? Who wants to work the massive laundry machines in the hospitality industry? Who wants to do the packing of Cheerios boxes? What if these are our kids from around the world that the Biden administration invited and then lost? Because the Somalians, if what we're hearing is true, are working like the Haitians are in Ohio. Meat packing plants, poultry plants. I want you to hear this gentleman. He is a worker from Minnesota, and he left Minnesota. He says, look, let me be totally clear with you. Some Somalians are absolutely slave laborers. And he says, I saw it with my own eyes at a major Minnesota food processing facility. Listen.
I've seen that my former home state of Minnesota is currently in the news due to Trump and the Somalian issue. I worked at a major food production facility that supplies the United States and Canada with food. I watched as they brought Somalians in, and they began to urinate and defecate wherever they pleased within this food production facility plant. We had to put up signs explaining how to use the bathroom correctly, but yet it was never corrected. I seen as grown men wash their genitals within the sinks, made homemade bidets from the garbage in the break rooms, and then brought in a roach infestation to the plant. Once again, I will tell you this is a major food production facility and cannot shut down for anything. I did, however, have it shut down once for a lockdown, due to one of them returning to the food processing facility with a knife. It's a real problem, and it's a major reason why I left Minnesota.
So here's this guy who watched the cultural, collision of people from a whole nother part of the world who don't have indoor plumbing. They don't have toilets per se. They don't have our hygiene. They don't know our norms. He's not being critical. He is sympathetic. He is sympathetic because these people were brought here to be literal slaves. Listen.
I hold no ill towards these people. It's not their fault. They come from somewhere that has a private problem and is ran by tribes. There's no rule of law. How do you expect them to integrate within modern society is beyond me. I do, however, blame the state of Minnesota. I watched as they brought these people in with the sole purpose of driving down the wage. They want to make wage slaves. People ask themselves, how is it that someone could work this job? How else will we get people to work here? Unless we bring in immigrants. You're holding them hostage. You are bringing these people in and holding them hostage. They are nothing more than a modern slave. I've seen it myself. As these poor people come into this country and are treated so horribly in these jobs, or are forced to integrate into something that they don't understand.
Now, if you voted for Joe Biden, if you're a Democrat, that is not what Republicans do. I'm just going to say this. We're opposed to that. We fight back against that. We want orderly immigration. We don't want anybody to suffer. But we also believe in the dignity of work. We believe in the value of getting up and going to do things, but not if you're treated like a slave. So is that going to be the next level of this debacle? First, the mind-bending number of billions of dollars that stupid people in Congress passed in trillion-dollar form, of course, knowing that there would be rampant fraud, waste, and abuse. But how else are you going to fund all of your pet projects? How else are you going to get money to the NGOs? How else are you going to open up the door of chain migration and say, come on in, the American dream is yours? You're just not going to get it. You'll have to pass that to see what's in it. We don't do that. But Trump is fixing it and cleaning it up. Hour 2 coming up. Jake Tapper can't even get the pipe bomb suspect's race right. Really? Next. Like the woman who was eating a cat. Now, if you live somewhere where poverty and famine and starvation are not uncommon, and you see a neighborhood and you come into America and the neighborhood cat walks up along your fence, that's meat, right? We saw videos of people barbecuing cats on their Webers. These weren't Americans, right? And the Haitian woman who was like, with blood all over her face. that we were told didn't happen, the Haitian woman? Of course it did. Was she mentally ill? No. Culturally, 180 degrees different than we. And then our country just kind of threw everybody together, right? Throw everybody together. Red ants, black ants. Let's see what happens. Okay. All right, so let's talk about healthy through the holidays. You can stay on track all Christmas, all New Year by making an appointment and talking to Dr. Dubiak, by calling 412-227-9255, by saying, you know what, Dr. D, I need to get my blood tested. I need to do this. For $199, I think that's what it costs, which is a steal. I mean, if you were to pay out of pocket, it would be thousands of dollars. He's going to test you for 65 different biomarkers, all these different hormones. Men, let's figure out what's going on with your T. Let's figure out if you've got cortisol and estrogen that you don't want. Women, what's going on with you? How are you feeling through menopause, et cetera, et cetera? All of this stuff gets addressed. And then all of a sudden, wow, there's a whole contingent of this where you learn how to eat and you learn what kind of food you can stay away from. And then all of a sudden what happens is you start losing a lot of weight and then you lose your weight. And now you have your Bible to keep it off. That is what Dr. Dubiak does. BodybyAim360.com. But then there's this, and you don't need to be in Pittsburgh. You don't need to park at his place. You don't need to get an appointment. You don't need anything. You just need to go to bodybyAim360.com and find the page for the genetic testing. And there's a QR code, and you hover over the QR code, and it goes whoop, and up pops this page for you. You're like, you want to have your genetic testing done. You want to have the most extensive dive into your DNA that tells you things predictably. What is your likelihood of developing cancer? Are you predisposed to alcoholism or obesity or disease? What about Alzheimer's? What about all these various things? Well, this tells you. And Dr. Dubiak, I don't normally see him get excited about stuff, but he thinks this is a game changer. Because once you know what you are predisposed to, you can do things to stop the path, which is the point. 412-227-9255. Body by AIM360. What?
I updated. And if we miss people, Lisa ordered 4 of them. Mark.
Oh my God.
Thomas, Amanda. I'm saving the last names to protect. Timothy, Chris, Joseph, Clay, Ronald, Dawn, Douglas, Beverly, Arlene, Wendy, Mike, Jerry, Roderick, Brian, Sue, Tina, Kimberly, John, Mark, Cheryl, Leone, Joe, Ronald, Jeffrey, Brent, Carol, Dave, Sylvia, Alicia, Bonnie, Michael, John again, Julie, David, Stacy, Ronald, Raven, Mary, Susan, Edward, Jean,
I love
Tracy,
that it's men
Steve,
and women.
Kimberly, Rusty, Christine, Melissa, Donna, Angela, David, Marnie, Nina, Kim, Lena, Dawn, Jim, Peace, Tracy, Anita, Barbara, Nina, Joanne, Alicia, Jackie, Stanley, William, Carol, Cindy, Joe, Larmer, Daniel, Lisa, Nicole. Wait, I have to refresh.
There's still more, you guys. I mean, that's how many of you are buying our Second Amendment.
William, Kathy, and some of you guys are ordering. I'll be surprised if we're not sold out of
the first one.
The first one, because there's only 50, and I've seen a couple people ordering. Obviously, maybe you didn't get the first one, that you're doubling up, and it's just nuts.
Promo codes are working. Apparently, I just got this 5 minutes ago. Chef Man, I know I just got a message from one of you saying, here's my information. Try again. Our friend Nick from Rumble says we were able to address the promo code issues as of yesterday morning. They confirmed that the promo codes are working. The landing pages are still wrong, but when the promo code is entered, it takes off the 30%.
Okay.
So when it populates, you're going to see, oh, Wendy, 20% off. And you're going to be like, So when you go in and you place your order, make sure you put Wendy as the final promo code, and that should take it down by 30%. Again, If you find this is not the case, let me know. WendyBellRadio@gmail.com. Brock thinks I don't check my email, which is generally true.
Okay,
I do. You know what?
Thank you for at least being honest.
I do. You're correct about. You know what I feel? I feel like a email is sort of like having a pager. It's like you have to be available. You have to answer. You have to see it. And some days I just don't want to. And so some days I miss things. And sorry. Some days I have to clean the cushions in the couch and move the rug around and vacuum underneath it because of.
I can't believe how much
You can't believe what?
this far exceeded.
It's just going. It's going and going and going. We just got one from Gregory in Purcell, Oklahoma. I mean, I can just go through where people are from. Here's Kathy from Greeley, Colorado. Like, Kathy, thank you. Thank you. And then all of you getting other things too. Like, what?
Say what?
What?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. Remember, follow us, WendyBellRadio.com. It's how you can join the live video stream and the chat and all of it. We're just so happy to be with you. Thanks for spending some time with us today. You know, it was 5 years ago, guys. It was 5 years ago. They told us that, oh my gosh, breaking news. This just in. 2 pipe bombs found, one outside the RNC, one outside the DNC. What's going on? It's madness. And we were like, really? On January 5th, right? And they weren't found until the next day, if I'm not mistaken, January 6th. And when we saw pictures of these rudimentary devices, we were like, what you talking about, Willis? Felt weird. And then we found out that all the Secret Service text messages for that window of time when the pipe bombs were found to the time that January 6th happened and was basically resolved. All of the text messages for the Secret Service disappeared. That's so weird. It's like Benny Thompson saying, what? You wanted us to keep all of the videos of the depositions and whatnot for the January 6th committee. I didn't know that. What? You needed all the chain of custody logs for all of the ballots that are dubious at best? I'm so sorry. We didn't know that. Please. I hate people who think we're stupid. So the FBI comes out. Kash Patel comes out yesterday. 5 years later, he's like, look, we figured out who the guy is. Jake Tapper, well, let's just hear what Jake Tapper says. Look, I'm just going to tell you something, all right? As a former television news anchor and reporter for nearly 30 years, okay? I'm just going to tell you that there is a lot of hand-wringing in television newsrooms around the country when it comes to describing somebody based on their race. In the early 2000s into the 2010s, There was a big discussion in television newsrooms about not using race because it was so much of a label. It seemed like we were demonizing people. If we called them black, it was essentially what it is. You can't call somebody a black man unless there are 3 other distinguishing things about the guy that would encourage you to say his race, right? And so we never talked about people in terms of black or white as suspects. It was a long time. Well, apparently to Jake Tapper, the guy who was a black guy who was arrested for being the pipe bomb guy, he called him a white guy. And you're like, wait a minute. Either you're dumb, you're not paying attention, or you're a serious mental head case. You decide. Here you go.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction.
And of course, the guy popped up on the screen as Jake is talking is a black guy with glasses. Look, I'm no rocket scientist, but I can delineate, right? Remember, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Perhaps one of the finest quotes from George Orwell in 1984. Don't believe what you see. Believe what I tell you. Well, Jake, you are a media hack and a dirtbag, so we don't trust you. 5 years later, what was it? Was it secret evidence? Was it something that Kash Patel found in a locked room in the Hoover building? What was it? It's got to be something deep and dark and secret. And oh my gosh, was it in a burn bag? Was it a thumb drive? Was it a hard drive? I can't wait. Tell me what it was. Yeah, well, we just brought in some people who don't suck. And we had them look over all the same evidence that Christopher Wray allegedly was looking over 5 years ago. And lo and behold, all of the evidence was there. Wait a minute. You had all of the evidence 5 years ago, but you didn't do anything. But it's funny because lickety split, you had like white on rice. You had all of the people who were involved in January 6th, geo-tracked, geo-fenced, geo-located, whatever it was. You had Bank of America blowing in their credit card charges and alerting the Democratic Party deep state. All these people were in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. I bet they're insurrectionists. Really? So let's talk about this arrest 5 years later. I've got a few details from Breitbart. Jake Tapper misidentifies D.C. pipe bomb suspect as a 30-year-old white man. I'd like to hear him come out and be like, ooh, yeah, I was wrong. That's what happens. That's what you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to do it on a dime. If I'm Jake Tapper and I'm sitting on that news set and I'm like, it's a 30-year-old white guy, and then the picture comes up and I see it, I'd be like, ooh, my bad. Excuse me. I have bad intel. Let's verify that, and we'll get back to you. Or clearly the guy's not white. Sorry, my bad. Jake's not said anything that I could tell. Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, he says, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion, Tapper said. Right? And then, of course, there's Tapper's own program, and photos of Brian Cole being a black dude. So there you go. He was charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and the attempted malicious destruction by means of explosive materials, with more charges likely to result from the ongoing investigation. The FBI placed Cole at the scene of the crime nearly 5 years later through license plate readers and cell tower data. This guy was not active on social media, wasn't out there protesting, he doesn't have a deep, dark past. He, I think, lives with his mom. Right? His closest allies and friends are his sisters. Like, there's not some deep dive on this weird, nefarious criminal background of this guy. But I can tell you unequivocally, based on my eyes, he ain't a 30-year-old white guy. Jake, I want you to hear what Kash Patel had to say. This is it. He says the FBI combed through 3 million lines of data to find the alleged J6 pipe bomber. It wasn't rocket science.
On a case of massive public importance, as it should be, an individual who is now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency. I want to take a moment to thank the Metropolitan Police Department, the United States Capitol Police, our brave prosecutors, the Department of Justice, and our leader, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro, whose relentless work on this case made this possible. As the Attorney General said, we did not discover any new information. What we did, An investigation spearheaded by the deputy director and the ADIC of our Washington field office brought in a new team of investigators and experts, re-examined every piece of evidence, sifted through all the data, something that the prior administration refused and failed to do. As a result of that, we generated numerous investigative leads, executed multiple legal process with our U.S. attorney partners, and came to this conclusion today. And that is why we were able to safely secure this individual into custody.
Well, now that's so fascinating. So without new data, just new eyes, just a new administration, a new FBI director, a new U.S. attorney. Somehow we're able to move the needle that has been stuck in one location, going nowhere fast for 5 years. Now, I remember, what was this, 2 years ago? We had Chris Wray, then FBI director of SUC, and Representative Eli Crane on the speed of taking down the ruining of lives of January 6ers. That was like, no problem. We got all their details. But this weird, mysterious fog, like, I have no idea who was it who did that January 6th thing. Listen to Chris Wray under oath.
Okay. So you were able to arrest hundreds of individuals who were allowed into the Capitol, walked around, took selfies, but we can't find the individual who committed the most dangerous crime and attempted to cause multiple mass casualty events at the Capitol or around the Capitol.
Congressman, we have an entire dedicated team focused specifically on this investigation. We've done thousands of interviews, visited, again, just in the pipe bomb investigation, thousands of interviews, visited thousands of residents and businesses, reviewed millions of pieces of data. There's something like 39,000 video files. We've assessed like 500 or something tips. We've done extensive public publicity. We've increased the reward money. We've got our lab working on it. We've got our WMD directorate working on it. We've got our Office of Technology division, our cellular analysis team. So the folks that we have working on this investigation are working very aggressively on it. And I, as much as anybody, would like to see it solved.
Right. I can't do it, Captain. I can't do it. Dude, you're a scumbag. You're a deep state scumbag. And everybody has known it forever. In fact, MSNBC has a guest on. I have no idea who this babe is. But she says the quiet part out loud. She's like, you mean to tell me that in just a few short months, the Trump administration is able to crack the code of the January 6th bomber and they didn't use Scooby snacks? What?
One of the sticky issues for the FBI, and we'll be really keen to hear the explanation for this, but one of the sticky issues is that why didn't analysts and investigators at the FBI sort of connect these dots earlier when this person's information was already in evidence the FBI had in hand, and mostly evidence it had collected in 2021 and 2022?
The FBI was probably in on it, was part of it. And then Christopher Wray having to read his answer to Eli Crane's questioning like he wasn't ready for it. I don't know. We've gone through everything. We've worked so hard. I just don't know what else to do. Oh, really? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program with Minnesota on a lot of people's minds, Derek Chauvin says, hey, you forgot about me and the malicious prosecution I feel I went through. Everybody else, you're worried about their due process. What about mine? And now, the George Floyd cop wants a new trial. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Chris Wray is a scumbag. How many times did he lie under oath, do you suppose? Right? How many times? But they're so used to getting away with it that it's sort of like, meh, what else? Right? All right. Can you guys tell this is driving me
William,
crazy?
David, John.
Oh my God.
Christina, Mark, Jenny, Amanda. All Second Amendment gifts.
See if I just hop back into my email.
Barbara just ordered.
So in the time that we were just doing that one little segment, we got 6 more orders.
7, 8.
Oh God. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. It just almost can't say it enough.
Listen to what I believe is the greatest part of Healthy Cell. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. You know, it's a whole change in how you consider the mode by which you get your health supplements. So if you're short on vitamin B, if you'd like to take supplements to stay healthy during cold and flu season, if you're noticing that you have very little energy, if you find yourself struggling to concentrate and to focus on things, particularly big things that you need to be able to perform and show people, like you have a presentation at work or you're doing something in front of an audience, if you have a hard time sleeping and you don't want to be on sleeping pills, all of these things plus so much more, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your hair, skin, and nails, all of these things, there's a formula for that doesn't involve you swallowing a pill or a capsule or a tablet. And it gets the supplements more quickly into your system. So when you swallow a pill, obviously, it's got to go into your digestive system. It's got to get processed by your stomach. Stomach acids got to break it down, and it's got to be absorbed into your intestines and what have you, right? Well, oftentimes, as you get older, your body doesn't process pills and capsules and tablets anymore, and so you end up taking things but not getting the benefit of it. Pass them out of your system, right? Not with Healthy Cell. Healthy Cell, Focus and Recall, I take it every day. He takes REM sleep every day. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. It's part of my life now, and I love it. It's a great company. It's a great product. They get you the supplements in microgel form. So instead of popping a pill, you're squeezing up some gel into your mouth. Something like an applesauce pack or a yogurt pack, except this is full of supplements. And there are all sorts of different varieties, and they're wonderful. Wonderful. And there's a new one coming out, and you're going to love it. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. Get that Focus and Recall on the REM sleep. Get the AM/PM. It's just like, pow. It's amazing. Amazing. I can literally feel myself go boop, 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 boop on you.
I have a question for you guys and Wendy.
Oh.
Do you like that the magazines are limited? I thought that made it a little more special, but if you guys...
What do you mean?
Because
yes,
we only make so many.
I think it is
okay.
special, yeah.
Okay. The Queen has spoken.
No, I mean, that's not true.
No,
I don't mean it. I don't mean it like that.
That's not what I meant. Like,
story about Derek Chauvin, the Minneapolis police officer who was charged and convicted and imprisoned for George Floyd's murder. What if everything about that case is wrong? What if everything you think you know about his knee on George Floyd's neck, about the protocol that the Minneapolis police were trained to use, certain strategies and techniques? What if everything that you thought you knew about George Floyd's autopsy, the people who interpreted it, and the folks and the evidence that they were allowed to hear during his trial? What if you learned that, in fact, what Derek Chauvin did that day did not kill George Floyd? Wouldn't you think perhaps he should have the opportunity to prove his case? He could be guilty as sin. I don't think so. But he sure got thrown away. He was the sacrificial lamb as we were all tiptoeing along the hot coals of racism. Here's a black guy, a drug addict, a career criminal, a man who had made God knows umpteen number of bad decisions that day, including taking a deadly cocktail of drugs. right? But because he's black, and because we're so hypersensitive about everything regarding race, we're going to go all the way around the corner and we're going to not punish people for doing things that they do. And we're going to give them a pass. And we're going to go even further than that, particularly if there's a white person who might be guilty of something. We're going to crucify that individual. That couldn't happen in America. No, I mean, you can't have people from Somalia stealing billions of dollars any more than you can have some, right? Derek Chauvin wants a new trial. He says, you know what? It's interesting. This case came at a very inopportune time. I was doing my job, he says. I was doing a strategy using my knee in a way that was in the training guidebook that, by the way, the page was ripped out of and was deleted from the database. But it was there. Oh, I can tell you that. And so can all of my other police officer friends who got the same training I did, except they've all been browbeaten into silence because they don't want to be called racist. And they don't want to have the might of the wacky uniparty coming after them. Derek Chauvin requests new trial for murder of George Floyd. I'd like to know definitively. I have suspicions, but I wasn't in the courtroom. I don't know how things were manipulated. I don't know what kind of exculpatory information he was not allowed to have, but I do know that the January 6ers went through that. Why should we believe Derek Chauvin was any different? We have a rabid justice system. They had a mission, right? They had a narrative. White people bad. White people don't like black people. Look at this cop, killed this black guy. Oh, Al Sharpton, let me travel around with his corpse. 4 different funerals, golden coffin. I mean, it's preposterous. Again, it's the unbelievability of the narrative. It's so outrageously ridiculous. But don't say anything, because you don't want people to think that you are racist. Derek Chauvin's had enough of that. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has filed an appeal requesting a new trial for the 2020 murder of George Floyd. He reportedly submitted the filing for an appeal last month in Hennepin County. You hear a lot about Hennepin County. Claiming that his conviction should be vacated due to what his attorneys argued is alleged flawed medical testimony and an alleged misrepresentation of police training. He also claimed that faulty jury instructions should warrant a new trial. Now, I don't know if he's right or not, but does he not have rights? Does he not have the same rights that we would expect to have in circumstances, all circumstances, judicially speaking, but in a system in which we watch the Hennepin County prosecutor, Mary Moriarty, bounce a guy who was a known criminal serial rapist who raped a 15-year-old girl and bounced him to get back on the street. And he raped another woman, bounced back on the street. And he raped another woman, back on the street. How many times does DeCarlos Brown Jr. need to get bounced from custody before he takes a knife to Irina Zarutska's neck and kills her? So we have potential good guys getting accused, getting convicted, getting thrown away for justice, while other people, based on what they look like, and whatever, do whatever the hell they want. Kill, rape, murder. It makes no sense unless that's the plan. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's talk about Trump's interest in Venezuela. The president's interest in Venezuela apparently is far deeper than just stopping drugs. It's about our elections. Let's go there next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
I think how they should sell the drugs is just say, we're trying to prevent the next George Floyd death since he had fentanyl in him. How would they fight that?
I'm interested. I'm interested in I'm interested in knowing the details from a trusted reporter. You know, give me somebody who we can agree on. Give me somebody like, I don't know, give me Benny Johnson. Give me Benny Johnson. Let Benny Johnson be the pool reporter for the Derek Chauvin trial.
How about what's her name who covered extensively?
Yeah, what's her face? Liz.
Yes, Liz.
She's got a name that you'd put an S on, but it doesn't have an S on it. Colin. Liz
Yes.
Collin.
Thank you.
Right? Why don't we have her? She's freaking brilliant. And she's called all this out. She was the one, I think, who called out the training manual.
Mm-hmm.
She's like the strategy of putting your knee, and it wasn't on his neck. It was like right here. Like there's some pressure point. There's something. I don't have all the details, but I would get them.
You gotta love the story. You gotta love when they say kneel on his neck while he called out that he can't breathe. Yeah. If someone's got their knee on your neck, you can't speak. Period.
The toxic elixir he had ingested of fentanyl and coke and meth and whatever the flip else he had. Interesting.
99 orders. Lindsay's going to need you to rate her doctor's excuse for not being available to work.
Guys, it's crazy. Let me talk quickly about do I have to? Yeah. Simkovich Concussion Institute. Simkovich Concussion Institute. I would go back and I would read it. But I got a beautiful message from a gentleman. Now, of course, I have to find it. God bless America. Simkovich. Let's see. Yes. This is from Renee. Hi, Wendy. I'm a longtime viewer and listener, and I listen every day while I work. My girl. My son is 32 and is having memory issues. He made an appointment with Dr. Simkovich for this January. I really hope he can help him, but I'm afraid my son's not going to be able to afford the visits, she said. You might be surprised. You might be surprised, Renee, that your son has issues and he's going there. Let's get a diagnosis, right? Let's get a diagnosis. Let's see if Dr. Simkovich, with his hands, can find in your son's soft palate perhaps the key to his memory problems. You might be surprised. I was surprised when I found out what it cost. If I'm going to be given my life back, if the pain is going to stop, if I'm going to get my personality back, I'd be like, oh yeah, how much? Let's go. I was surprised. It is not that much money. I understand it is a lot of money in today's economy. I get it. But I think that there is a value there that is priceless. 412-366-3700, SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Renee, thank you for reaching out. I do not know. I don't know anything about payment plans for them or discounts per se. But I think when you go, I think you're gonna be pleasantly surprised by who they are and how they function at Simkovich Concussion Institute. The orders are crazy. You guys are just absolutely nutty.
Yeah.
I mean,
Barbara, Jane, Regina.
Here we have Fallbrook, California. Amanda, you're not far from where I grew up. How lovely to see you here. Thank you for that, Amanda. How about Jenny? Jenny from Charlotte. Jenny, thank you. How about, let's see here. How about Christina from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania? Thank you. That's amazing. Christina, thank you so much. And Harleysville, Pennsylvania. Mark, thank you. We also got a flag shirt. We're almost out of our shirts, yes, I'm sure.
We're almost out.
You just got this just moments ago. Thanks to Jane. Jane, and I don't even know how to pronounce this. Tidiyoute.
If you can't pronounce it, don't ask me.
That's Pennsylvania. Tidiyoute, to do. I don't know. Is that X-rated? I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's know which how we pronounce
sorry
things.
about
Yeah, spell them.
Sorry about that. How about
Dick?
100 and John from Sealy, Texas. 3. North is still north commemorative gifts. You guys are crazy.
Yeah.
How about How about David in Litchfield, Minnesota? Thank you, David. Yeah, two. One first one second one. I think you're definitely going to sell out of the first one.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think you might have already. I don't know. William from Salyersville, Kentucky.
I hope the website can keep up.
We're going to make a list of all of the states where you guys are from. Thank you.
Sounds like Brock's gonna be
Crazy
busy.
people. Very interesting. As I started the program, we were discussing what the president and it's the president's, it's his national security strategy. Apparently, once every presidential term, the administration drops on the American people. What's the overarching national security strategy? We should go back. Maybe Brock can help me figure out what Joe Biden's national security strategy is, because I guarantee you, it's not even remotely what this president's is. And I read you the first page of what he said. Basically, this is what we've done. This is who we are. This is what we believe. And this is what we plan to do with the rest of our time in office. And that is to make America the best, the safest, the strongest, the mightiest. But I want to read you page number 3 here. And this is called, What Should the United States Want? What do we want overall as a people? This is from the president. This is his vision of America and your security in it. And he writes, first and foremost, it's only a page, so it's not a big deal. We want the continued survival and safety of the United States as an independent sovereign republic whose government secures the God-given natural rights of its citizens and prioritizes their well-being and interests. When did you ever hear Barack Obama talk like that? Do you ever hear Joe Biden when he got out of his hyperbaric chamber and wasn't wheeled around like Weekend at Bernie's? Did you ever hear him talk like that? About America first, about you, about what your kids need? We want to protect this country, he continues, its people, its territory, its economy, and its way of life from military attack and hostile foreign influence, whether espionage, predatory trade practices, drug and human trafficking, destructive propaganda, and influence operations. That means I think he's going to roll back that Smith-Munt thing. Cultural subversion, or any other threat to our nation. We want full control over our borders, over our immigration system, and over transportation networks through which people come into our country, legally and illegally. We want a world in which migration is not merely orderly, but one in which sovereign countries work together to stop rather than facilitate destabilizing population flows, and have full control over whom they do and do not admit. We want a resilient national infrastructure that can withstand natural disasters, resist and thwart foreign threats, and prevent or mitigate any events that might harm the American people or disrupt the American economy. No adversary or danger should be able to hold America at risk. We want to recruit, train, equip, and field the world's most powerful, lethal, and technologically advanced military to protect our interests, to deter wars, and if necessary, win them quickly and decisively with the lowest possible casualties to our forces. And we want a military in which every single service member is proud of their country and confident in their mission. We want the world's most robust, credible, and modern nuclear deterrent, plus next-generation missile defenses, including a golden dome for the American homeland to protect the American people, American assets overseas, and American allies. We want the world's strongest, most dynamic, most innovative, most advanced economy. The U.S. economy is the bedrock of the American way of life, which promises and delivers widespread and broad-based prosperity, creates upward mobility, and rewards hard work. Our economy is also the bedrock of our global position and the necessary foundation of our military. And it goes on. But I wanted to read you that. I I agree. Yes. I'm starving for that. I've been in the cafeteria line waiting for that. So we understand that the president's interest, perhaps, in Venezuela may be way deeper than just stopping the flow of deadly drugs into our country. And I want to read you an article from the Dallas Express. Former Maduro spy chief's letter to Trump seeks to expose narco-terrorist war against the United States. You ready? The Dallas Express has obtained an explosive letter addressed to President Donald Trump from Hugo Carvajal Barrios, is the former director of military intelligence for Venezuela and once one of the most powerful figures inside the governments of Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro. The letter shared exclusively with the Dallas Express by Carvajal's attorney, Robert Feitel, a former senior Justice Department prosecutor, marks the first time the retired Major General has put these warnings on record since pleading guilty earlier this year in a U.S. federal narco-terrorism case. So Carvajal, who was extradited from Spain after this long international manhunt, says he is writing to atone and to alert Americans to what he describes as a coordinated, state-directed campaign targeting the United States. And this is what he says. Widely known by his nickname El Pollo, he spent years inside the top tiers of Venezuela's security apparatus and dealt directly with the senior leadership of both Chavez and Maduro. And earlier this year, he pled guilty in federal court to charges stemming from a conspiracy that moved cocaine into the United States and provided support to Colombia's guerrillas. Huh. So weird. Prosecutors say at the center of the so-called Cartel de los Soles, a network of Venezuelan military officials accused of weaponizing cocaine and the drug trade against Americans. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, speaking Thursday, issued one of the strongest statements yet. The Maduro regime is not a legitimate government. What it is a transshipment organization, allowing cocaine and other drugs to move through Venezuela on airplanes and ships headed toward the United States. The U.S. State Department currently maintains a $50 million reward for information leading to Maduro's arrest, a figure publicly announced by the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi earlier this year. This is the letter from this Hugo Carvajal Barrios to Donald Trump. Dear Mr. President, and to the people of the United States, my name is Hugo Carvajal Barrios. For many years, I was a high-ranking member of the Venezuelan regime. I was a 3-star general, trusted by both Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro, and served as director of the military intelligence and deputy in the National Assembly. Today, I sit in an American prison because I voluntarily pled guilty to the crimes charged against me, a narco-terrorism conspiracy. I write to atone by telling the full truth so that the United States can protect itself from the dangers I witnessed for so many years. I publicly broke with the Maduro regime in 2017 and fled my country, knowing that I faced criminal charges in the United States. In doing so, I became their enemy. Knowing the risks, I acted with the strongest conviction to dismantle Maduro's criminal regime and bring freedom to my country. Today, I see the need to address the American people about the reality of what the Venezuelan regime truly is and why President Trump's policies are not only correct, but absolutely necessary to the United States' national security. I personally witnessed how Hugo Chavez's government became a criminal organization that is now run by Nicolas Maduro. The purpose of this organization, now known as the Cartel of the Suns, is to weaponize drugs against the United States. The drugs that reach your cities through new routes were not accidents of corruption nor just the work of independent traffickers. They were deliberate policies coordinated by the Venezuelan regime against the United States. This plan was suggested by the Cuban regime to Chavez in the mid-2000s and has been successfully executed with help from FARC, ELN, Cuban operatives, and Hezbollah, which I'm sure we're paying for. The regime has provided weapons, passports, and impunity. for these terrorist organizations to operate freely from Venezuela against the United States. Tren de Aragua. I was present when decisions were made to organize and weaponize criminal gangs across Venezuela to protect the regime. Among them, the group known as Tren de Aragua. Chavez ordered the recruitment of criminal leaders inside and outside prisons to defend, quote, the revolution in exchange for impunity. And after he died, Maduro expanded the strategy by exporting criminality and chaos abroad to target Venezuelan political exiles and artificially reduce crime statistics within Venezuela. Gang leaders were instructed to send thousands of members out of the country. This was coordinated through the Ministry of Interior, the Ministry of Prisons, the National Guard, and National Police Forces. Tren de Aragua became the most effective and the fastest growing. When the Biden-Harris open border policy became widely known, they seized the opportunity to send these operatives into the United States. They now have obedient armed personnel on American soil. To finance their operations, they were explicitly instructed to continue kidnapping, extorting, and killing. Every crime they commit on your soil is an act ordered by the regime. I was present when Russian intelligence came to Caracas to propose to Chavez the tapping of submarine internet cables that connect most of South America and the Caribbean islands with the United States for the purpose of penetrating United States government communications. Hillary Clinton and her server. In 2015, I warned Maduro that allowing Russian intelligence to build and run a secret listening post on La Orchila Island would one day invite American bombs. He ignored me. For 20 years, the Venezuelan regime sent spies into your country. Many are still there, some disguised as members of the Venezuelan opposition. Cuban intelligence showed me their networks inside your naval bases on the East Coast. They bragged about having sent thousands of spies over decades, some now career politicians. U.S. diplomats and CIA officers were paid to assist Chavez and Maduro in remaining in power. These Americans acted as spies for Cuba and Venezuela, and some remain active to this day. And then he gets into Smartmatic. And that is what I want to talk to you about next. Because if everything in this world seems corrupt, because it is, what on earth would make you feel like any election in this country is safe or secure? Because they are not. And in his national security documents, his agenda, the national security strategy, President Trump tells you he knows all of it. No wonder they wanted to take him out. What it has to do with Smartmatic, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Well, we sold out of the first series. The 50 is gone.
In 10 hours. That's just...
Now you can yell at him for not rumbling.
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you doing? Do you know how hard we're working, how hard we're humping this horse? Come on.
Wow.
You have one job, and it costs you nothing. Click that cute little button underneath my face. It's got one of these, and it's got this really enticing, almost intoxicating
follow button.
Yes. Oh.
Wow.
I'll have what she's having. Dr. Richard Rafferty in the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh. Look, I talk about him all the time because what he does is magic, but it's not. It's science. It's called being a doctor. It's called fixing a problem that is going to affect almost every single one of us. 8 out of 10 of us, I mean, that's so ridiculous, are going to have some issue that needs a back specialist at some point in our lifetime, right? And if your issue happens to be a slipped or degenerating disc in your back or neck, and you've been told you need surgery, could be you might need surgery, but what if you don't? What if you can go through a therapy? What if in 8 to 10 weeks you can regrow your disc instead of having somebody carve into your spine? Blah, 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 blah. I'm all in. Dr. Rafferty, it's called intradisc neutrosis. Thousands upon thousands of success stories. He's got to be near 20,000 successful procedures and 98% successful. So it's not like, well, I mean, it's usually pretty good. It's like, no, it's almost perfect. And after 5 years, 96% of the people say they're still pain-free. 412-906-9600. 412-906-9600, PittsburghDiscInstitute.com.
There will be a pet show tomorrow. Sunday. It is up to Wendy.
I'm not going to do it, and we don't get 3.5.
Oh.
So I'm not going to touch it.
And for the person that said about, I wish I had a holster. The reason we don't do holsters is there are so many.
Yeah.
To fit so many guns, and some people don't like the plastic ones, and some people don't like the leather ones.
I don't like the plastic ones. I like the leather ones.
And they're the easiest probably to do, you know.
The plastic ones?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I agree. Look at you. What are you going to try to get us into now? You have to be careful with that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because...
Birthday wishes for Brock a week from today. He turns 50. P.O. Box 86033. Shut your pie hole. 86033. Look at that stupid look on your face. He's like, no, I don't want your cards. Oh, please send me a card. P.O. Box 86033, Pittsburgh, PA, 15221.
She just wants it because she gets, you get more mail at the P.O. Box than I do.
I think that's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. I'm happy for you. Somebody had to like you.
Well, that's hurtful.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. At 11 o'clock, I'm so putting this freaking hair back.
Driving me crazy. 106 orders. And you're buying other stuff too, and thank you.
Come on, we need 3.5. We're at 296. All right. Honest to God, there's no reason we can't get another 1,000. Why can't this be a 4K day? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Let's get back to this former Maduro spy chief's letter to President Trump and to the American people. He's saying all the stuff that's going on in your country that's been planned for decades. There have been people on your soil who've been working on behalf of the Venezuelan government for 20 years. Tren de Aragua. There's a reason why they're around. There's a reason why they came in through the open border. There's a reason why Donald Trump said, we are not getting the Rhodes Scholars of the world. We're getting the dregs of their society. They're emptying their prisons, their insane asylums. He wasn't speaking out of his hiney. He knows. You don't think he knows all this? You don't think he knows about the elections? Look, you might think it's unpopular to talk about these companies. I don't care. This is America, and we do not have stolen elections, or do we? Well, according to this former spy chief, wants to blow in Smartmatic in our elections. Here's what he writes to the president. Smartmatic was born as an electoral tool of the Venezuelan regime, but soon derived into a tool to help keep the regime stay in power forever. I know this because I placed the head of IT of the National Electoral Council in his position, and he reported directly to me. The Smartmatic system can be altered. This is a fact. This technology was later exported abroad, including to the United States. Regime operatives maintain relationships with election officials and voting machine companies inside your country. Oh, goody. I do not claim that every election is stolen, but I state with certainty that elections can be rigged with the software and has been used to do so. People of the United States, make no mistake about the threat posed by allowing a narco-terrorist organization to roam freely in the Caribbean and throughout Latin America, doing everything possible to harm the American people, to finance anti-Americanism across the continent, and to facilitate the operations of other terrorist organizations and enemies of the United States within Venezuela and now within your borders. So weird. I wonder what ICE is doing. I wonder why we've got the entire Navy flotilla outside his back step. I wonder why the president always says rigged and stolen elections. The regime I served, he writes, is not merely hostile. It is at war with you, using drugs, gangs, espionage, and even your own democratic processes as weapons. President Trump's policies against the Maduro criminal regime are not just justified, but necessary and proportionate to the threat. He may even be underestimating what the regime is prepared to do to hold on to power. That's creepy. They have contingency plans for every extreme scenario to ensure they never relinquish control. I absolutely support President Trump's policy towards Venezuela because it is in self-defense and he is acting based on the truth. I remain ready to provide additional details about these matters to the United States government. Signed, Hugo Carvajal Barrios. So what comes next? He writes that he's prepared to provide additional details. You know, here's what I'm thinking, and this is just me spitballing. I really hope he's not in Jeffrey Epstein's jail. I mean, right? Wouldn't that be wild if those guards who both fell asleep in that whole thing where the video wasn't working? It's just so weird. Just stopped working. And for some reason, it was like a white sale. It was like Macy's having a white sale inside Jeffrey Epstein's cell. Pictures of it. He had like 84 different sets of sheets to choose from to tie a noose around his neck and hang himself, because that's what we're told happened. I'm sure that's exactly what went down too. He writes, if federal prosecutors deem his cooperation substantial assistance, it could reduce his sentencing exposure. Certainly he's in for that. If corroborated, his information could reshape U.S. policy in Venezuela, strengthen ongoing narco-terrorism prosecutions, and shed new light on alleged foreign intelligence operations inside the Western Hemisphere. As the Trump administration increases pressure on Maduro and conducts strikes against suspected trafficking assets. Carvajal's letter marks an extraordinary moment. A former regime insider openly appealing to an American president, he now argues, is confronting a criminal state. Now pay attention to the people pushing back against Donald Trump, because they're freaking in on it. No doubt. Why is Jocelyn Benson? Why are her unis in such a bunch? To allow all sorts of late ballots to be counted in her state. By the way, if you didn't pay attention to that, she just got a little bit of a slap to the face. As a judge has said, you know what, sister? No more. So what do you think? Do you think what President Trump did on day one? Narco-terrorists, foreign terrorist organizations, lethal kinetic strikes, ICE all over the place, closed border, new places to hold the criminals. It's almost like Donald Trump seems to know what he's doing, while the Democrat Party is desperate to stop him from being successful. I wonder why that is. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program, Federal Watchdog reveals a staggering amount of Obamacare fraud. I know. Get out. No, sir. Really? Next. I saw that this morning and I was like, what? Anywho, that's much better. Is that good? Should I go on like that? That's good. I got to get it out of the way, guys. I'm sorry. It's time. Time to be done. Anyway, Brock, why don't you go ahead and talk to people while I do this?
Well, we're up to 110 orders.
Talk to them about Sniper.
Sniper?
Yes.
Buy it.
Wow.
Just
buy it. That's convincing.
If you haven't heard, it's the greatest
Yes.
disinfectant odor eliminator, which is knockout.
Yes.
Out there. They just there's no other way of saying it. It just works.
Yes.
You know, and free shipping. You guys, I don't want to say complained because you still bought, but
No, it's expensive to ship a gallon of liquid. Yeah.
But there's free shipping on the whole site. You can check out everything on that site, disinfectwithsniper.com. That is disinfectwithsniper.com. It's all pet friendly, kid friendly. There's the weed eater that you love.
I do.
And there's enough stuff
I have
on there
some-
that doesn't matter what part of the country you live in. You're going to find something there that works where you are. But disinfectwithsniper.com, they have spices on there now that are fantastic. I said to Kate last night, I'm like, I need to talk to Wendy. We need to do another brisket.
Wow. It was damn good.
I thoroughly enjoyed, and this is going to sound stupid.
No, it does. It's not going to sound stupid.
I thoroughly enjoyed
Me?
watching your kids and you enjoy it. That made it worthwhile. You know, I don't normally cook for, there you go, multiple people. So but the spices are fantastic.
This is
Hunt Chef.
Yes.
Hunt Chef. But disinfectwithsniper.com.
This is how far I'll go to get this freaking
All right, you have to keep talking. I have to run. That looks fantastic.
I am so attractive.
Oh yeah. Hubba.
That's hurtful. I'm not going to forget that, Brock. Okay. There we go. All right, so who do I want to talk about now? Look, I didn't tell you it was going to look good. I just told you it was going to get off my face. Okay, there we go. Okay, that much better, right? Poking out all over the place. This is how much I don't care, but I want to be comfortable. So there you go. All right. Okay, who do we want to talk about? Kelly Morgan. Kelly Morgan, Morgane's Fitness. She's phenomenal, right? She wants to help you get your body back, your confidence back, your shape back, your, I don't know, everything back. Isn't it all connected to how you feel you look? Because if you feel you look like a turd, you feel like a turd. I felt like a turd. I've been a size 12 before. Okay? I was a big. Sorry. 12's not that big, right? It is for me. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Hold on. And I think what I like about Kelly the most, she admits to you, she was heavy. She's been heavy in her life. She's like, it's not fun. It sucks. So I learned how to work hard after I joined the Air Force. And then I created a business, and it's killing it. Kelly Morgan, Morgane's Fitness, MORGAINZ fitness.com. How do you like this, Brock?
That's fantastic.
Isn't it great? The good news
I would have done it the same way.
I think it's great. All sorts of little pins everywhere, right? I don't care. It's not in my face. So, woo. I was meant to be bald. I'm thinking that's probably the case.
111 orders.
I know you guys have been. I don't know what to say, guys.
Donna just placed an order. Where's Donna from? Dodge City, Kansas. That's the cool thing.
Yeah, you guys you're all over the country.
Yeah, where everybody is.
Hold on, I've got this one shark I've got to fix.
Sonia, Tammy, Karen.
I never know if it's Sonia or Sonia.
Nancy.
Is
Sherry.
that like gladiator and radiator? I don't know.
You don't know, but you criticize me when I say
absolutely. It's an American pastime.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I do very much enjoy it. So, all right, there you go. I know you guys are just weird, and I think you're weird because we don't lie to you. right? We show you everything, all the good, bad, and ugly. Even that, I think it's gone. I get to cancel my appointment. I made the eye doctor appointment.
Is it gone?
It's close. Yeah. I was lucky because I've heard from people who said they had the same thing and it lasted 3 weeks. I'm like, when it feels like you've got 4 eyelashes in your eye.
First Smoky bought my 2A at like 6 a.m. That's what's nuts. Like, literally the first purchase came a minute after it was posted, which is...
I love you guys. I know I already said it, but I do. We have a very dear good news today, and you don't have to have people tell you to be a good person. People are good people. Oh, I haven't talked about Texas bullion exchange yet. I'll do it in the next break. Kind of late for me to talk about them. I love them. Such great guys. I always thought like the gold and silver stuff was a racket. Like, what's the ripoff?
I never understood it.
What's the scam? What are we doing? Because it's obviously a scam. And then I started meeting with them, and I was like, "No, so this is real."
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, dingbat," and I was like, "Okay, I'll take $4 worth, but I'll make sure Brock gets a silver bar."
It's almost doubled in value in a year. That's nuts.
Isn't that amazing? Wendy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. Hey, I want to encourage you to hang out for the whole hour because we've got a beautiful good news story, and it's just a great neighbor looking after a neighbor story that kind of warms your heart. That's the thing that frustrates me so much about the crime and the dirty garbage that's been allowed to go on in this country for so many years. This isn't just the last couple years. This isn't a Joe Biden mistake. This isn't even a Barack Obama mistake. It's systematic. It's endemic. It's baked into the whole fabric, which is why we've got to have term limits. You know what I mean? Like that. If there's ever a reason for us to be able to defend the idea that serving in Congress is a limited honor and privilege, that you don't get to make it your grift. It's not your career, right? At some point, you got to bounce back into the private sector and do what you do. Do you have skills? Or have you become a career leecher? Or even worse, are you really an enemy of the state? Who knows? But this federal watchdog, the Government Accountability Office is interesting. And no wonder the Democrats, the deep state, were so up in arms with Elon Musk and with Doge. Because going in to find waste, fraud, and abuse specifically is alarming. But if they go in and have the technological knowledge to be able to unlock portals to show the true depth of how much you and I have gotten ripped off, that's lifestyle changing to them. That's career ending. They couldn't let that happen. The Government Accountability Office decided to do this study into the long-running vulnerability in the Affordable Care Act exchanges, right? So the whole idea that the government should be even remotely in charge of health insurance or what have you, it's preposterous. Preposterous. It shows that weak verification controls continue to expose federal subsidies to significant fraud and abuse. Why should this be any different than the Feeding Our Futures scam by the Somalians in Minnesota? I mean, right? You've got to have somebody who actually cares. There's got to be somebody in charge. They've got to be walls around it in order for it to work. And either everybody is wholly lazy or they're all in on it. This is what the Government Accountability Office found. Preliminary results from the Government Accountability Office's ongoing covert testing. So we're going to apply for a bunch of benefits, right? This is what the GAO did. We're going to create fictitious people, fictitious problems. We're going to fraudulently fill out paperwork, which should, if there are any guardrails whatsoever, which Ilhan Omar has told us there aren't, should flag the people before we get benefits under the Affordable Care Act. It didn't. 90% of their fraudulent applications and what have you did not get flagged by the system. Shocking, isn't it? According to the report, GAO conducted undercover tests by creating fictitious applicants with fake identities and fraudulent or never used social security numbers to see how the federal marketplace would respond. Over the past 2 years, this is how long this has been going. 2 years, 90% of those fake applicants were approved for subsidized coverage despite lacking required documentation. Why do you think Schumer and co. were so horny to get the Affordable Care Act stuff dealt with before the government shutdown ended? It's got to be the biggest moneymaker. It's got to be bigger than Feeding Our Futures. It's got to be bigger than the welfare fraud. I don't know. 90% of those fake applicants were approved for subsidized coverage despite lacking required documentation. In fact, in plan year 2024, all 4 of the Government Accountability Office's fabricated applicants were approved and received about $2,350 per month in subsidies paid to insurers, even though they failed to provide proof of Social Security numbers, citizenship, or income. GAO scaled up the test for 2025 to 20 fake applicants. 18 were still enrolled as of September 2025, generating more than $10,000 per month in subsidies. That is life-changing money. More broadly, GAO's preliminary analyses identified vulnerabilities related to potential Social Security number misuse and likely unauthorized enrollment changes in federal marketplace data for going back to 2023. These issues can contribute to all sorts of issues, obviously. How many Social Security numbers did we find out that the illegal aliens had been given? You know, the people who weren't illegal, they were asylees or parolees or whatever you want to call them. 3.9 million. Well, if you're going to lure a bunch of people to come to your country as indentured servants, a lot of them, right? You got to give them some freebies. You got to give them some perks. You got to give them some reasons to come. You got to give them the welfare, the SNAP money. You got to give them a fat debit card. You got to find them a place to live. You got to give them benefits. Here is your Social Security number. That's not what's going on. Nowhere is that going on. Yes, it is. Now, this report lands in the middle of an active policy fight on Capitol Hill over whether to extend enhanced Obamacare subsidies, giving Republicans fresh evidence for their arguments about the program's structural problem, validating their longstanding criticisms of Obamacare. House Ways and Means Chair Jason Smith called the report a smoking gun, showing how a flawed system protected by Democrat policies has pushed tens of billions of taxpayer dollars to insurers through identity fraud. Why are your taxes so high? Can you imagine what they could be if all of this stuff was finally fixed? If we stopped having the same corrupt blowhards represent us in Congress who are getting paid to push things that they know steal from the hardworking American taxpayer? They don't care. This is why they'll never vote themselves out of office. They'll never vote themselves term limits. That's why they're all loaded. That's why Ilhan Omar is worth $30 million. This is how Nancy Pelosi is worth over $200 million. And don't get me started on Marjorie Taylor Greene. When the government comes in and says, we've got to fix something, that is a huge sign for you to be like, whoa. What's really going on behind the scenes? And then what do? It's dignity. Everybody has a right to health care. You don't have a right to anything. You didn't have a right to not get a freaking vaccine. They held a gun to your head. And then Joe Biden came out on live television with blood red drapes behind him, standing in posture of freaking Adolf Hitler. And called you bad, racist, awful people. Remember, it's going to be a winter of darkness and death. Our patience is running thin. You know, I think we need to do a little study. We need to find out who in our Congress is not corrupt. Who in the government is not taking payoffs. Apparently, scamming the Affordable Care Act was pretty easy, like bilking Minnesota if you're a Somalian. I'm tired of it. This is what steals my son's American dream. This is what made housing prices out of control. Well, when you infuse 20 million people into a country that has certain kinds of housing, where do you go with them? All of this perpetrated by our own government. And then there was this one guy who came down the escalator and was like, yeah, I'm not down with that. We have to stop all of this madness. And he knew all of the details. How did he know? What will happen now that we know Venezuela is more than just drug running? It is a complete overthrow of our elections, of our governance. And we're on a fast track to be just like the UK, to be like Germany right now, to be like France right now, with completely wide open borders and a social network set of a finite amount of money and services that don't go to you anymore. They go to the new arrivals. That's called the Great Replacement. And then those people work for peanuts. And then the jobs disappear and people are despondent and then they get hooked on drugs. It's almost like we have all of the proof. We just needed the person to bring it all to light. When we come back, I want to talk about this. It's the push towards socialism and communism. That's what it is. Look at New York. The Mamdani effect. Miami realtors are having a hell of a time finding enough property for the New York rich fat cats who want to get the hell out of the Big Apple. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. They can't even come up with standards for your Obamacare. We need more money for people. We need $200 billion to give illegal aliens health care. I'm pretty sure they have everything already that they need. Really? We need to give them more? That's a great replacement. You guys are put penniless. You're in the doghouse. You've got nothing. There's your Somali neighbor driving a Lexi, dripping in Cartier. So obvious. Texas Bullion Exchange. WendyLovesGold.com. WendyLovesGold.com, and I do. Gold is my favorite color. Silver is amazing. Platinum, palladium. There's so many amazing ways to get involved in precious metals. Like if you're even remotely kind of a collector sort of person, people collect all sorts of stuff. Flags, stamps, vases, ornaments, cookie cutters, what have you. Imagine if your collection was in unique, limited edition coins from around the world whose value keeps going up and up and up and up. As the value of the dollar keeps going down and down and down, this keeps going up and up and up. Every single time we look at the numbers, our numbers grow. The gold that, or the silver that Brock got for his birthday last year, that was what, 30 something dollars an ounce, is now 50 odd dollars an ounce. A huge, almost a doubling of the value of one item. And you don't have to be a multimillionaire to get in with Texas Bullion Exchange. What you do get at wendylovesgold.com is a guarantee. It's called the Principal Protection Plan. That when the time comes for you to sell your precious metals, you will never get back less than what you paid for them. You'll always get break even or make more, make money. Who else can say that? Who else guarantees that? It's like Genucell and their 100% money back guarantee. You're like, really? Are you sure you want to do that? Because that's a pretty big deal. And they're like, WendyLovesGold.com, 855-927-5557. They kind of reaffirm your faith in people. You're like, oh, you're not a shyster. Wow. Brock is dazzled by my hairstyle.
Yes.
I am so attractive. How are you doing? Now it's cold in here. Changes. Sorry. How many more do we have now, Brock? More? More people ordering commemorative gifts? Oh, my Lord.
We're up to 113 orders.
Most recent. Hi, John from Knoxville. Hi, babe. Wow. 2 Second Amendment commemorative gifts. How about Edward from Castle Rock, Colorado? Hi, Edward. What the heck?
We may be getting close.
How about Donna from Dodge City, Kansas? Hi, babe. What? You may getting close to what? Sonia. West Middlesex, Pennsylvania. Thank you. How about Nebraska? There's Nancy from Nebraska. Hi, Nance. Thank you.
What is the item? The item is an AR magazine with the logo
30
on
rounds.
one side. Yes. Logo on one side. The North is still North is all we have left. Speech statement on the back.
So the first one is gone, gone, gone. You guys are crazy.
The second one?
It doesn't show us how many are left, does it?
No. But I'm doing the math in my head.
You think we've sold 100?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, we only made 250?
Yeah, we're probably closer to 2.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. You know, I was remiss in an earlier segment. I want to play something for you. Brock, if you bounce back to the prior segment, the gentleman who's calling out the Somalians in Minnesota, the percentage of them who are on welfare. If open borders, because we're such good people, because we don't want to be called racist, we don't want to be called Islamophobic, whatever it is, right? So we invite everybody in, but then we give them all sorts of free stuff that you and I pay for. How does that benefit you and myself? Does that help us? Because I don't think so. And here's a guy in his car who notices the exact same thing and very easily is able to call the spade the spade. Here you go.
So let me get this straight. Y'all calling Trump a racist for holding these Somalians accountable, cheating the system, and 88% of them are on welfare. So that means us hardworking Americans getting all these taxes taken out of our check, and 88% of these Somalians are using them. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Then I'm going to try to make this make sense. You got the girl, Ilhan Omar, whatever her name is. She's here sending out a message to other Somalians, speaking in her native language, and she keeps saying, our country, referring to Somalia, but she's in the United States, and she's in the office. She works for the government. She is a politician. What kind of is this? You would never see an American go to another country, get in office, refer to our country, speaking about America in that country. I hope I made sense. Are y'all cooked? Not to mention, Tim Walz is running Minnesota as governor. Like, what happened to our country, bro? Like, this shit is crazy, bro. It's so bad that I'm seeing Democrats who don't even like Trump, and they're like, I actually agree with him on this. I don't like him. I still think he's a head, but I agree with him on this. And then let's play a game of switch the roles. Put any other president in Trump's place right now, taking a stand on all of this madness that's happening. And y'all would not have an issue with it. Y'all only mad because it's Trump. Y'all soft as hell, so y'all don't like his delivery. And a lot of y'all wish y'all had the balls to, stand on business like that. You wish you can put your opinion out there like that, but you're too scared to. So Trump rubs you the wrong way.
Ow. Yes, yes, yes. And by the way, these people coming in from other countries, they know what Mamdani is thinking about, what Zoran Mamdani has visions of doing in New York City. In fact, so do Miami realtors. Their phones, bring, off the hook. They're reporting a 166% spike in inquiries from wealthy New York City residents, a flood of rich New Yorkers. Spooked by socialist mayor-elect, he's communist. Come on. Zoran Mamdani's November victories reportedly set to migrate south, with Miami realtors reporting a 166% spike in inquiries about multi-million-dollar properties in one of the most coveted enclaves of South Beach. Real estate agents who are showcasing waterfront condos along Miami's Billionaires Beach, which stretches from about 14th Street to 21st Street along Collins Avenue, said they stand to benefit from the Mamdani effect. The second that the word on the street was that Mamdani was going to be elected, we started getting phone calls, said an executive vice president of one of the realtor companies. Other analysts suggest fears of a mass exodus are exaggerated. I don't know how you guys would feel about that. But isn't that the rub? That people who are either willfully blind or dumb, ignorant, continue voting in losers who have bad ideas for America. And then when those bad ideas take hold in their particular states or cities, they leave and they take their Democrat voting to a red state where it's warm, where the women are charming, where men are gentlemen, oftentimes where there's no income tax, and they settle into a community and they continue to vote Democrat. I don't know. Sounds outrageous, but if you lived in Florida, would you want all sorts of people from New York to come into your community any more than you'd love your community to be overrun by a bunch of Somalians? No. Right? They're causing mass migration just here domestically. So, of course people want to get the hell out of New York City. Now, of course, Donald Trump says he's going to work with Zoran. He's going to be there to help him out, wants him to succeed, loves New York, loves the job of mayor, would love to have the job, Trump said, buttering him up, and then treated him like his best friend, or perhaps even his son. Trump knows darn well what Zoran represents. And so do a bunch of wealthy folks who probably were too dumb and voted him in. Who knows? Watch out, Miami. All right, when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, let's see if I can get my papers apart. About that drug boat that the Department of War double tapped. Oh, yeah. Congress got to see the video. Apparently, it's not what you think it is. Next.
To the person who said merch update's not necessary, this is our way of saying thank you. Because we can't say thank you to everyone all the time. It's just a way for us to say thank you. 328. I'm still sure we'll still do a show on Sunday.
69 million individuals throughout the world sustain a traumatic brain
And we do want to keep saying thank you because you keep me from having to get a real job and going back to corporate America, which I don't even know if saying thank you is enough for not making me have to go back to corporate America.
We offer support and can answer the questions you have for your individual
This corporate America sucks. But you guys all know that.
Simkovich Concussion Institute is here to help.
He said there will be a pet show tomorrow, 10 o'clock. You can ask your question. I appreciate if you ask your questions on Rumble. But I'll take them also at, hold on a second. WBRBrock@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, look out. Your hair still looks
I
fantastic.
know.
It's
Isn't it-
amazing how you keep it together.
I just saw it was sticking out. Whatever. Oh, well. Fail. Epic fail. All right. So who did I miss? I don't know if I did.
I don't think you did.
Texas, doctor, healthy, sniper,
Ireland.
Ireland,
Dan.
Kelly, blood flow, Dr. Simkovich,
This is the time you should be reading your
Juvenon.
jokes
Oh,
and being prepared.
well, see,
I can't be held responsible because Brock lost a few years off his life this morning.
yeah, so tell him what happened and what it meant.
So Cloudflare is the same thing that went out, I want to say like a month ago, but it didn't affect us.
Uh-huh.
But it affected our streaming software this morning and the software that I use to make the thumbnails. So I was in a panic and I try to figure out workarounds before I even bring it up to Wendy. Like I try to have answers before I throw her into panic. But yeah, so I couldn't get on. We're getting the air rate of 504 or something like that. And it's sort of, you guys are chomping at the bit at 4:30. So it's frustrating and concerning when our software doesn't work. And it doesn't have, there's no backup for anything when the Cloudflare system's down. There's just no backup. It's not the individual site. So it's frustrating and I had a workaround, but I wasn't sure the workaround that we were going to have to use isn't set up for this. So she would actually have to stream from her computer to be able to do it. It wouldn't be the same. Still be up, but wouldn't be the same. Yeah, that's definitely where the gray hair comes from. It's not what was me. It's you guys would be pissed. And you'd be sure to email me to tell me you were pissed. And my response would be like, nothing I can do. Are any of them too bad?
No.
Okay.
No. Because, the 30 seconds it would have taken you to read them would have been probably too much, but whatever.
Not even funny, Darius. Don't email me if things aren't working the way you think they should work. Because you're not going to get a response.
Into the Wendy Bell radio program, this whole desire by the deep state to do whatever that is Pete Hegseth, the cutest thing ever. I just have to say that. I mean, I know I'm a lady and I appreciate a good looking man. I just think he is killing it. I think he is killing it. I think he is strong. I think he is fierce. He is a war fighter. He has a war fighter's mentality. And all of that is a threat to the Willows in Congress, who hide behind all sorts of stuff, operate in the shadows. This administration is giving you everything. They bring in cameras to the cabinet meetings and go live. The president takes questions wherever he goes. Doesn't matter if he's in the air, if he's on the ground, if he's in the White House, if he's in his limo, doesn't matter. He's there, he's taking questions, he's answering questions. He tells you what's going on. He told you on day one, as his hand is on the Bible, and he is swearing his oath. He signed all those executive orders declaring, I know all of this that's going on around the world. And I realize I've got 4 years. And we got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Pete Hegseth, they are trying desperately to get rid of this guy. Put in somebody else. Put in some rhino. Put in some loser. Put in some hack. I mean, the difference between Lloyd Austin. What a drip. You can't say that. He's black. I absolutely can say that. Dude was horrible. Was a zero. He was in on all of it. Pete Hegseth says, yeah, sure, Mr. President, I'll work for whatever my pay is. And I'll have my whole life get upside down, inside out. I believe in America. And they want to destroy him for it. So there's a story, September 2nd, first time they went and blew up the narco-terrorists ferrying drugs across the sea. As we've covered, there were some survivors. Yesterday, Congress got to see the video of that strike. So they got drones overhead. They were recording the thing live. They see what's happening. As the dust, as the smoke and the fire settles down from the strike, they see two dudes holding onto the wreckage, right? What else do they see? They see them trying to bring the drugs, big things of drugs, try to bring them in the water, save them. And so what happens? The American military finishes the job. That's what we do. That's what war is. There's a reason Trump said that on day one. Terrorist organizations, they stop now. Closing our border, you're not welcome, period. This is not a mystery. Well, what the congressman saw was different than what the media and the left has been telling you. And I want you to hear a couple clips here. It's just stupid, just unfortunately. Here's Representative Jim Himes. And I want you to hear, we have 2 audio sound bites from this cat, okay? And I was particularly interested by the first words this guy says. He's coming out and he's saying, look, this is just, it's really un-American. Blowing up people at sea. I mean, come on. Who are we as a people? And then when we don't do the job all the way, we finish it like, oh my heaven. Do we need to bring up Barack Obama's drone kill rate? Do we need to talk about the 1,500 attacks, the 3,000 people killed, the 300 civilians and the children that Barack Obama destroyed, killed? Because we can if you want. But we've got a president and a secretary of war putting it out every single day for you to see for a reason. This is Congressman Jim Himes. Listen.
You know, I live in a political world, and a lot of folks, if you just tell them, you know, the president is killing narco terrorists in the Caribbean, you know, reasonably enough, they'll say, you know, a lot of Americans die because of overdoses, and, you know, they might say, okay, I'm supportive of that, right? But what you need to do is you need to see two terrified men clinging to the wreckage of a ship. And these men are not, this is not Pablo Escobar out there on a boat. You know, these are guys that probably didn't have a lot of economic opportunity, made a terrible decision to participate in the drug trade.
Are you out of your mind? I live in a political world, he starts with. Well, that's your problem, Jim. See, because we live in the real world. And in the real world, people like that on a fast boat, the triple engine outboard motor, whatever the hell, that's zooming across the sea with all those big barrels and things wrapped in plastic, they're not fishing for marlin, Jim. And if you saw them, they're terrified. They're, oh, yeah. Don't be traveling across the sea to poison our people. How many times does the president need to say that, Jim? Here he is coming out of the hearing. I want you to hear what he said now. This is, again, Congressman Jim Himes.
What I saw in that room was one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service. You have two individuals in clear distress, without any means of locomotion, with a destroyed vessel, who are killed by the United States. Any American who sees the video that I saw will see the United States military attacking shipwrecked sailors. Bad guys, but attacking shipwrecked sailors. Now, there's a whole set of contextual items that the Admiral explained. Yes, they were carrying drugs. They were not in the position to continue their mission in any way.
What am I missing here? So the Democrats can't identify a woman. They can't identify a criminal. They can't identify a peaceful protester. They can't identify clear dementia or even what bathroom to use. But boy, they know a fishing boat when they see one. Shipwrecked sailors? Are you out of your mind? Yes, they were carrying drugs. They did have a live well. And there was some, you know, there's some bait fish in there. So I'm sure that's what they were doing, speeding across the ocean. Is that the dumbest thing you've heard in the last 5 minutes? That is what the Democrats want you to believe. These are shipwrecked sailors. And they were holding on. And they were just hopeful maybe somebody will come by. And they'll save us. They know damn well what they're doing. And by the way, the drones flying around them of the dealers, of the whatever, the cartels, you know darn well that a new boat's going to come over to them and help them salvage their load. Okay. Now let's listen to this. Did you guys hear about this free beer for a month this guy got? So there's a bar in Idaho that offered anybody free beer for a month if they're able to blow in an illegal alien living in their stead. Well, not only was he able to do that, he was able to blow in a local state representative whose family business was employing illegals who admitted it on the House floor. Listen.
Ryan Spoon, the so-called first winner of Old State Saloon's month of free beer promotion, told Idaho News 6 he filed that tip believing the man he reported worked for Mickelson's Farms.
Basically, I repeated Representative Stephanie Mickelson's, State House Representative Stephanie Mickelson. She gave public floor testimony on the floor of the Idaho State House in 2024, I believe it was. where in her own words, she said that, quote, every food processor in the state, unquote, hires illegals.
Mickelson, whose family employs hundreds of workers, says she decided to speak now to let others know she thinks the saloon's promotion is despicable.
If we start targeting people based upon the color of their skin, that we really have a big problem here.
Immigration attorneys warn that programs like this can lead to false accusations, targeting of Hispanic workers, and misuse of federal agencies.
So you heard the Democrat line, color of their skin. So if you have more melanin than I, that gives you license to break United States laws and come into this country illegally, that gives her the ability to undercut the American worker and pay them pennies on the dollar. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I just needed you to hear it out of her mouth. There you go. And to that bar in Idaho, rock on. It sounds Well, my boyfriend Steve Hartman takes us on the road to Glendale, Arizona, where a woman's worst day opened the door to I don't know about you guys, but I have full body goosebumps. That's the story of America, not the one that the news tells you about every night, without doubt. It's Bad Joke Friday. You guys ready for it? Your awful jokes. Some of them are pretty good, actually. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Anywho, let's talk about you guys.
Oh, did you look at the rumbles?
No. Oh, boy. Come on. Can we please get 130 people to click the thumbs up button underneath the video?
So we need to make the announcement now. Sunday or no Sunday?
Mm-mm. I don't know what else to do. Like, I can't get people to, shoot. I'm going to give them a couple minutes. I need 110 people still to hit thumbs up. If you haven't done this yet, it's easy. This is just your vote on if you like me or not, basically. And if it's a thumbs down, it's still a rumble. So we'll give it a minute. We'll see what happens. 3.41. It's huge. It's huge to us. Darius, will you do a show if I watch Wendy?
No.
I can just call you on the phone, Darius. That's all that we need to do then, right? 3.44. If I get 60, then yes.
Thrifty.
Oh my God, that was loud. 40. You got a minute. Come on, let's go.
I'm trying to wake them up. Yeah, we only have 6 thumbs down.
I know. What happened to you people? You don't like me that much. Come on. 30. See, you're there. You're there. You just hold out on me.
Someone says you should take the day off.
Well, maybe.
20.
How much
I'm
time
making
until
a
we
day
come
off.
back? Come on.
2 minute 46. And
Wow.
And before we run out of time, I know this is going to piss somebody off. Thank you again for all the orders.
I got 8 now, thumbs downs.
Well, that makes us
7. Come on.
just hit it.
Okay. We'll see you on Sunday. 7 a.m. That's why you hit the follow button, because it tells you, hey, they're doing a show at 7 a.m. on Sunday. That's not PG per se. And
sometimes we get a little tinfoily that we can't.
sometimes we go down some rabbit holes. I
Yeah.
wear an emerald crown
I don't.
and no makeup. And he smokes a cigar, and we drink
Sometimes.
coffee, and we chew over interesting stuff that nobody else is talking about. And you guys actually have a role in it too, which I love. Love, love, love. Look at what you guys did. You made us suddenly relevant again in the eyes of Rumble. So thank you. And hello to the 1200 on X. Hello to those on the app. I see you. I appreciate you. So thank you.
I don't know why you have to beg.
I ain't too proud. That's so stupid.
Wow.
Oh. The week. It is mine as well. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from New York, and boy, my arm's tired. I'm joking, of course. Anywho, welcome to the Comedy Club. Won't you give it up to Wendy and Brock for Bad Joke Friday?
Well, we begin as always with Dr. Richard Rafferty's joke from the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh, and it goes like this. A retired man who loved to fish was sitting in his boat fishing when he heard a voice, "Pick me up." He looked around and didn't see anyone. Thought maybe he'd imagined it. And then the same voice said the thing again, "Pick me up." The man looked into the water. He saw a frog floating on the surface. The man said to the frog, "Are you talking to me?" The frog said, "Yeah, I'm talking to you. Pick me up and kiss me, and I will turn into the most beautiful girl you have ever seen. I'll make sure that all your friends are envious and jealous because I'll be your bride." The man reached over, picked up the frog carefully, and placed it in his shirt pocket. And the frog said, "Wait, what? Are you crazy? Didn't you hear what I said? I said, kiss me, and I'll be your beautiful bride." The man opened his pocket, looked at the frog, and said, "Nah, I'd rather have a talking frog than a nagging wife." You always like those.
I do. Tom and Mary were working in the firework factory when Mary said, "I bet I can get the boss to give me the day off." Tom says, "I don't believe you. The boss is a mean old toad. He'll never let you miss work. Just watch me," says Mary. And when she hears the boss coming in, she leaps up and hangs upside down from the ceiling. "What the hell are you doing?" yells the boss. "I'm a light bulb. I'm a light bulb," says Mary. "You've been working too hard. You better go home and go to bed," boss says. So Mary drops down, grabs her bag, and is off. Tom drops his tools and makes for the door. "And where do you think you're going?" asks the boss.
Uh-oh.
Tom yells back, "I'm not going to work in the dark." That's actually kind of funny.
What do you call a Christmas wreath made out of $100 bills? Aretha Franklin's.
Oh, boy. That was pretty good. Not everyone thinks Cleopatra is beautiful.
Oh.
But that's how Julius Caesar.
Oh, my gosh. I used to be afraid of speed bumps, but I slowly got over them.
I passed all my courses except for Greek mythology.
Oh.
That has always been my Achilles elbow.
Oh, my gosh. I don't want to brag, but I finished a puzzle in 1 week, and the box said 2 to 4 years.
Oh, God.
Uh-huh.
What do you call a snowman having a tantrum?
Huh.
A meltdown.
What did the fisherman take to his boat? Wait, where did the fisherman take his sick boat?
You really butchered that.
I saved it to the dock. That was perfect.
When I was a child, my mother told me I could be whoever I wanted to be.
Wow.
Turns out this is called identity theft.
You know, I don't think I'm welcome at Costco anymore. Yesterday, I was in the checkout line with a giant 50-pound bag of Purina dog chow for Neko, my 191-pound wonder dog. The woman behind me looked at the bag, then at me, and said, "Oh, do you have a dog?" What did she think I had, an elephant? Since I'm retired and way too much free time, I decided to have a little fun with her. I told her dead serious, "No, I don't have a dog. I'm back on the Purina diet." Her eyes widened, and so I continued. "Last time I tried it, I lost 50 pounds before I landed in intensive care. Tubes everywhere, IVs in both arms. But hey, it works. The diet's simple. Fill your pockets with Purina nuggets. Eat a few whenever you feel hungry. Perfectly balanced nutrition." By now, everybody in line was listening like I was giving a TED Talk. The poor woman gasped, "Oh my goodness, did the dog food poison you?" I shook my head. "Nope, I just stopped to pee on a fire hydrant and got hit by a car." The guy behind her nearly collapsed from laughing so hard. And that, my friends, is why Costco does not let me shop there anymore. Moral of the story, be careful what you ask. Retired people, we've got nothing but time to come up with nonsense. There you go. That's somebody's real story. So there you go.
A local grocery store employee used a labeling gun to scare away would-be robbers.
Oh.
Police are now looking for a man with a price on his head.
Oh my gosh. A couple went to the therapist to work on their marriage. When the therapist asked the husband how he saw the last year of their marriage, husband said, "My wife, after all these years, wants to become a nun." With raised eyebrows, the therapist asked, "Really?" "Yes," acknowledged the husband. "None yesterday, none today, and none tomorrow."
Oh my. My friend loaned me an audiobook, but I misplaced it.
Oh.
Yeah, now I'll never hear the end of it.
I went golfing today, paired up with an 80-year-old man. We had a lot of fun. He doled out marriage tips, but the best one was on the 18th hole when he said, "Don't talk to me in the parking lot." My wife is picking me up, and she thinks I went deaf 10 years ago.
That's funny too.
All right, let's see.
I have one quick one. According to my chocolate advent calendar, there are only 3 days till Christmas.
Wow. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I've got one final one. Do you want to hear a potassium joke? Okay. Ha, if you know, you know. Have a great weekend, everybody. Love you guys. Peace.